Yes. Yes.
Yes, he's a biche.
Yes.
I hate you. All right, what's up, y'all? My name's bichphuongballz, usually referred to as Big for short. This is Final Fantasy V. I want to thank ESA for letting me play a really long RPG speedrun here at their event. I got my boys, Doosler, Shadow Killer, who know tons about this game and won't be reading the notes as we go along. And
No, I'm casually scrolling.
Yeah, it's
something
Twitter,
else, totally.
Twitter.
all right, are we ready? I think so.
No, but I hope you are.
As ready as I'll ever be. So we'll get started here in 3, 2, 1, go. So in true RPG fashion, we're actually going to open up with a 5-minute unskippable cutscene, so get comfy. No gameplay. The nice thing about it is you don't have to like mash through text or anything, but you do get to watch it every time. Speedrun this
Every
game.
time.
Every single
At least
time.
you get a meteor.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you just make like a race file and skip it?
Hey man, that's Clear Tonic's job. I don't know why he hasn't programmed my own version of this game for specifically me, but whatever, man.
Something about 37?
337. Nice. This game is actually particularly light on character development and plot, and most of the work seems to have been put on the second iteration in Final Fantasy to have the job system. And there's a lot of customization, makes the game really cool casually and really cool as a speedrun to try to figure out all the routing and who should be what job and when and what abilities you can use. And there's been a lot of changes over the last couple years. But in the meantime, yeah, this whole setup is like, it's 4 crystals, always, you know, of the elements. And in this case, not only do they kind of control their elements, but they're also keeping the main villain in check. And we're investigating right now that the crystals are weakening and all hell is breaking loose and blah, blah, blah. And they also show you some of the main characters ahead of time, even if you don't know that's who they are. So our pink-haired girl here is Lena. She'll be joining the party pretty soon. That's her dad. We'll probably see him again, maybe.
I guess it's worth noting that Big's estimate is 410. He did run this game in 2016 at RPG Limit Break with an estimate of 440 and a finish time well under that was still 25 minutes slower than the current estimate that he has. So the development of the route has changed. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so the big difference between those two runs is this run is completely step routed. So what that means is Big is going to walk in specific locations at specific times to either skip encounters completely or get the encounters he wants when he wants them. So you may see him walking around, looks aimlessly, but it's all planned, it's all routed out, and it's so he knows exactly what's going to happen. But in turn, that means, unfortunately, if one step in the wrong place can throw the whole route off, but not gonna happen.
Yeah, you know. No mistakes.
There is some stuff that Vic, being the dominant runner he currently is, that if he missteps, he'll be able to potentially make up for it slightly. And there is areas in the game that aren't actually counting towards his overall, quote, step counter. It's a game based around tiles, so every step he takes, he basically moves tile to tile, if you imagine like a checkerboard. And certain areas, like in towns and other spots, the step counter doesn't actually go up, so it doesn't affect any of the encounters.
Yeah, so at parts you may see him look like he's not taking the most optimal route to get somewhere, but he's avoiding event tiles or the tiles that don't count towards the step route.
Pretty much right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, we're going to need to close the name incentive. Also, if you're a headphone user, probably want to turn it down a little bit. This part's going to get really loud. Oh, yeah.
Love it.
It's only going to get worse.
Well, on that note, we do have quite the fight going on for the naming incentive here.
I would suggest waiting till this part's over. But yeah, the name's going to be coming up very quickly, actually.
Yeah, just go ahead and give us the name before we get to the donations.
Alrighty. We're going to close it down right now, and it looks like by $1, it's J Primo. Oh!
What a fight. Thank Jeebus.
Thank you, Jeebus. Now our main character is a true American.
All right. So we got J Primo here, and he's going to fight these goblins. Tough battle. He's just going to hold one button. Oh my gosh, the tech.
In classic Final Fantasy fashion, you see kind of the ATB bar there. Once it fills up, he gets to attack, if you couldn't tell.
All right, so we got a little plot here. Lina and J Primo are going to introduce themselves to each other. And why don't we go ahead and get a couple of quick donations in?
Sounds good. We have $75 from Eggplant Wiz saying, I love watching Bic run RPGs. Thanks for the Final Fantasy V run.
Thank you.
And of course, that went to PPMA. Dusler put in $50, says Primo or bust. Rasmus put in another $50, saying, J Primo, you just don't know you need it yet. Hactical puts in $20, saying, I expect some spicy lore from SK and Dusler for this one. Good luck with the pyramid, Vic.
All right.
Cool.
So this is our third character. This is Galuf, or Galuf. He doesn't know who he is right now. He's lost his memory, but he's just decided he's going to tag along and hopefully find his memory or people he knows along the way. Phoenix down.
Could probably squeeze in that last one right now.
All right. That was another $20 from Rasmus, putting us over the top for J Primo. With the comment, J Primo Supremo.
Thanks, Rasmus.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rasmus. Spreading the good word.
Isn't it kind of ironic that one event PPMA isn't banned in, it still loses?
Well,
for good reason, though.
We got something for all the people at home when Bic does a live PPMA later after sub 4.
All right. So we're going to make our way up a little bit, but first you're going to see a couple extra steps there just to mess with the step counter. You can't actually get encounters while you're on the chocobo, but it still advances the counter.
Essentially, the way that counter works is there's like a threat level, and there's, we'll say, for example, 4 different enemy types in this area, and they'll be counting as the step counter is going, and when they reach a certain value, they'll go ahead and you have that encounter, and it'll dictate what encounter you get into. And so if Bic is on certain tiles, he'll know either, like Shadow Killer said, the exact encounter he's going to be in, or he'll get onto an event tile, which actually doesn't do anything other than the event it's supposed to.
Just realized I spelled Primo wrong. Should I just start over? My bad.
It's not about the spelling, it's about the feeling.
Yeah.
Touché. Sorry, Joe.
The chocobo didn't eat them.
Thank you.
Hey, we're bringing the spicy lore for Hack Dog.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so as you can kind of see, it's very like prologue-y. You're just kind of learning the kind of base setup of what's going on and being introduced to your characters and seeing the reasons why you might join together, which they're not very good reasons to join together right now, but whatever. It's not a big deal.
They gotta go to the Wind Shrine, dude.
Do. Lena's trying to find her dad. Galuf has no idea what's going on. Our boy Joe Primo is doing what any true American would do. And help those in need, you know?
You're red-blooded for 13 bars. You go to the Wind Shrine with your boys. Crack a cold crystal. Keep it going. Also, the soundtrack for this game is pretty bossa nova.
Soundtrack's great. There's really only one song I don't like, and you only hear it like 2 times or something. Everything else is
Battle on Big Bridge?
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Can't stand it.
So the other thing that Bick is doing here is when he brushes up against those mountains, he can hold up, and he's not actually advancing a tile, so it doesn't count. So he'll brush up against places like that just in order to kind of say, okay, I'm going up 6 steps, now I can walk back and get that step counter going. He also did something called a half step when he went to enter the cave. So basically, he walked to the next tile while buffering start. And by entering the menu, he moves that tile, but he doesn't actually increase the step counter. So he'll use that a couple different times to stay on the manipulation.
Yeah, you also saw him go into the menu there, change the battle speed, the menu type short and memory. So as you can see, it's just a big block, so he can just hit one direction, get the command out he wants as fast as possible. And also, when he gets into the next battle, the command will still be on the same one, so it'll be quicker.
It's also set to remove equipment every time you change a job. Yeah.
So he's going to be changing jobs quite frequently. So instead of it optimizing like it normally does, it's going to have an empty equipment slots so he can pick what he wants rather than taking things off and exchanging them.
The optimize is just the same as every other RPG you've probably played, where it takes what it thinks is the best equipment statistically and equips it to that character.
Alright, so we are in the pirates' den, and they just saw that ship come into shore to dock with all these pirates, and they decide it's going to be a good idea to steal the ship, so that's what we're going to try to do. Looks like we got a donation. Why don't we hit that real quick?
All right, we've got $25 from Sneakbat. Says, shout out to my speed hero, Bish. And he puts that $25 towards the Untitled Goose Game 100% bonus any percent run by Yisk.
Nice.
Thank you, Sneak.
So, Bick doesn't actually have the step counter going up on the ship at all. That's just one of those areas. I won't point them all out, but it just seems like it would, but it doesn't for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of technical stuff going on, and we're not going to sit here and point out every single one of them because it would be overbearing. But there's going to be a lot of half steps, a lot of step routing and step manipulation, walking where the step counter doesn't rise. So like we said, just every movement is very particular for a very good reason.
What's going on here, Shadow Killer?
All right, so we got Ferris, who's the pirate leader, and Lena walks up and they're like, hey, we got the same necklace on. That's kind of weird. And then Ferris kind of freaks out and throws him in the brig, our main characters.
Bound and tied.
Ferris has a name, so pretty good chance she's a party member.
I've found that in life too, you know, when I meet people and they tell me their name. It's like we hang out more. It's weird.
Joe Primo. I want to hang out with that guy.
I can arrange that.
Well, we got one more donation. Got some time.
Yeah, we've got $10 from Shforatan saying, dang, this Pokemon Sword Shield DLC leak looks sick, even showcasing the new walking Zapdos birdie. Also, you spelled Bulbasaur wrong while naming your character.
This is an RPG. I don't. Pokemon isn't that.
You
but-
played a game with a Pokemon, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mega Man 10? Yeah.
Yeah.
What a run that was.
That was the best.
Let's talk about Giga Wing, not Mega Man 10.
All right, so Ferris has had a little bit of a change of heart. She releases the prisoners, and they talk about what they're trying to do, and they tell him, well, we need to get to the Wind Shrine, so we're going to go to the Wind Shrine.
Boy, off we go.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, one more introduction.
Yep.
So since the wind crystal was destroyed in the intro, there is no wind, so they have no idea how they're sailing a ship around. So it's actually being pulled by a dragon named Sildra, which makes some good dragon noises.
Oh, yeah.
Lena doesn't like it either.
So Ferris was best friends with this dragon since childhood for some reason.
Yeah, they don't really explain things like
No.
that. They don't really explain a lot in this game. Just kind of
Not that
stuff.
important.
All right.
Took two extra steps there, else I'd actually get one in the next overworld segment. Then we're gonna say no, just because it's faster. It would actually steer you to the Wind Shrine by itself if you wanted, but it's slower to do that, so skip it.
All right, so this is the Wind Shrine. We are going to make our way up to the top where the crystal is. There's a few, or just one chest, I guess, along the way we're going to pick up.
Gonna be snagging a broadsword. Per usual, that always get that text box when you first
Right.
save there.
The secret passage right here, right to the broadsword, and then fight our boy Raptor.
Alright, RNG time.
All right,
Go.
so there's basically nothing Bick can do in this fight. He just needs the good rolls. He's gonna equip that broadsword on real quick, right there, and we'll fight. And we just hope for the best.
This should
But
be good.
Good start. Yep.
If you can get at least 2 people to go before the boss goes, which again you have no control over, it's just starting ATB is random. You typically are good in almost all circumstances. My damage rolls are also really high right now. But yeah, if you don't and you get low damage rolls, Wing Raptor actually then closes its wings and procs counter attacks and just makes the fight take way longer. Alright, nice.
Good fight.
Good one.
Holding A is really hard sometimes.
There was actually an event tile right there as well.
Yeah.
but-
Basically in front of almost any door.
I guess, too, just for reference, when Bick is talking about damage rolls, when he has a weapon equipped, it's not a set amount of damage it does. It's a variance from, for example, 12 to 24. And if he needs higher damage rolls, he's hoping something on the higher end of that scale, where he could swing and get the very low number with all the characters, and it could potentially add turns to boss fights and things like that.
So we come up to the top and the crystal breaks. And then you kind of get an introduction to the other crystals, where they are. You kind of see each of the 4 characters kind of has a corresponding crystal.
Mode 7 was pretty hot
Yeah.
at this point in time, so got to use it when you can.
I guess it's important to say that we're playing actually the Japanese version of the game, but with an English patch translation. There was never actually an official release of Final Fantasy V for the Super Nintendo until Final Fantasy Anthologies much later for the PlayStation. It's a lot slower, so we're not playing it.
Lena's dad.
See ya.
Off to see Joe Primo.
We could only be so lucky.
So, in addition to the crystal breaking, we pick up the shards, which are the jobs. So, 6 shards there, gonna get 6 starting jobs. There they are.
Time to see how bad I mess up this first menu, dude.
All right, speaking of menus, FF5 menus are hot. There's no lag in the menu whatsoever. So, if Bic can do it as fast as he can, the game will respond. So, they can be pretty sick.
And regardless of Bic's self-deprecating talk of his menus are damn good.
Awesome.
Very well done.
All right. So we equipped blue mages and a thief, and we're going to have our first bit of RNG coming up here in just a second. We're going to get into a fight with 2 goblins, and we want them to use a specific attack. Sometimes they can not be so nice.
So yeah, one of the blue mage's abilities, this preemptive is not what we wanted.
Yeah, so it's going to take longer for the enemies to do anything.
But what we'd like is for one of the blue mages, there
bad.
we go. That's pretty good. So now J Primo, of course, who else would it be, has learned Goblin Punch, which is very, very useful for Bic.
Yeah, so we'll be using Goblin Punch for an upcoming boss specifically, but
Thief was also a really important job class for him to choose because it now gives him the ability to basically sprint in the overworld. And while this helps, obviously it affects the step manipulation that he's doing. So as he's moving quicker, he has to be cognizant of every tile that he's on.
So as long as one blue mage gets hit by Goblin Punch, you'll learn it, and then once someone learns it, everybody who's a blue mage or has blue magic has access to it. So that's nice. The only time you can get trolled that way is if they hit it Lena instead, who was a thief, so that doesn't help me. Normally you wouldn't come in here at all, but because this is a marathon run, I want to grab an extra Phoenix down for safety.
So we're just going to do some shopping here, pick up a few black magic spells for the next boss, as well as Cure, just in case, and go up here and pick up a couple of hidden items. This is it Zoc? Is that right?
Yes.
Zoc's house, and he's got the key to the water gate, which is what we need to continue on our quest. So Lena and he go back a long time, and she's going to appeal to him, and he says no. So
He lost it.
That's great. Game over. We're done.
Time to go back home. Sorry about your dad.
I get some backstory on our boy Joe Primo.
Couple squats to wake up, get the blood flowing. Got to get a pump before you leave.
While we watch this beautiful cutscene, do we have a moment to talk about some upcoming incentives?
Sure.
All right. Well, in a couple hours, we've got Limbo going to be played by Zet. We have an incentive out there for him to put on a blindfold and do the hard route through Limbo. Now, right now, we're at $280 out of $700, so we need your donations to come in to make that happen. And that's something you're not going to want to miss.
Now, Limbo is a super sick game. Speedrun's really cool, too.
Watching the blindfold stuff's always impressive too. Matter of the game.
Bic was going to do the step route here blindfolded, but he didn't want to make the other runners feel too bad, and it's one of those things.
Just like our boy Zoc doing some sleep watch. Also one of those things. Game's weird, man.
Yeah. So Zoc changes his mind. He's like, sure, here's the key.
Can't really hate on the guy, though. It's an epic beard. So now we just kind of resolve to go to the canal anyway, even though we have no way to get through, or they don't know that we have a way to get through. It's like, oh, let's just go anyway. Maybe life will just work out. Oh, let's go.
Is it canal or canal?
Is it Chican or Chican?
Is it crick or creek?
Creek or creek?
Doors Creek.
Attaboy.
Eater? Theater.
Then, of course, Ferris catches you as you're dipping. All the pirates are ashamed.
We're leaving them behind.
Like, come on, we just want to go, you know. Captain's orders.
I know what you're thinking. We just finished this awesome cutscene. It's time to set off on our journey, so let's hop in the boat and actually just enter another cutscene. There's a lot of that in this game, too. Obviously, cutscenes are going to be part of RPGs and RPG speedruns. This one's particularly good about, like, here's a cutscene, then you have to move over there and then do another cutscene instead of them all just being, like, back-to-back or whatever.
Makes for a more immersive experience,
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Those 3 tiles really sucked me into the world before we got on the ship.
Basically, Lena's just saying that the world's gonna go to crap when the crystals explode, so
we're
we gotta
gonna
do
protect
something.
them.
Yeah. This is where all 4 really just find their inner J Primo and be like, we just have to do the right thing and protect the world.
It's hard to see, but there's actually a Bud Light case that he's got his foot on right now.
American flag shorts. Alright, so we got the boat. We're going straight to the canal. We see the water gate, and they're like, we can't get through there. And Parts is like, yeah, we can.
So it's actually important that Vic enters the door on the right side there as well. There's 2 event tiles in the front of that door, so the one previous to it also doesn't count for these steps. And this part with the canal, he's going to have to be watching the uptick in step counter here. So going over to the right keeps him on track. And these are 2 planned encounters that he knows exactly what's going to happen. It's kind of nice with these encounters as well, because as he comes here and gets into another one, knows that he's still on track. Obviously, we're early and not a whole lot has happened, but throughout the run, that's just a good way for him to know what's going on.
All right, so we got our second boss, I guess. We're gonna make everybody. Oh, there we go. Everybody a black mage, and there's a little cutscene again. We got Carla boss.
You want to talk about something weird about this game? All of the monsters are tentacle monsters, and they're actually programmed only to hit the 2 females in your party. It's really very bizarre.
The true speedrunner's dream.
I don't know why you'd make the conscious decision to do that.
That is a
Whatever,
very
man.
interesting development choice, yeah.
Alright, we got Carla boss.
All right.
This is our little bit of RNG first turn.
And we're good. All right.
Nice, man.
So he's weak to lightning. We have the lightning smell. Guess what we're gonna do?
Cast lightning.
Yep, you got it.
Excellent.
True speedrunners go down and left instead of right and right. So he actually has one ability called Tentacle, which will stun someone for a round, so it's good that he didn't do it. Even if he does it now, it doesn't matter. So it's like a full round of Thunder. This is as fast as the fight can go.
All right. That's it.
28, not bad.
Well done.
Thank you.
So, plot-wise, you see Sildra getting sucked into that whirlpool, so we no longer have control of our boat. So the boat's just gonna drift. And guess what? We got another cutscene.
Well, if you got sucked into a whirlpool, I would have a cutscene too. I'd be crying. A bummer.
Thanks, dude.
That's
Man,
that's
That's
real
love.
friendship right there. Yeah. can't buy that.
See you, Sildra.
Bye, Sildra. I have a feeling we'll meet one more time.
Dude, I haven't watched this. That's spoilers, bro.
You have to watch this.
You better have.
Trying to follow along with everyone at home,
You
man.
were either there for my most recent PB or the one before it. Can't remember.
Both.
Oh. That's the most you've been in my stream in our entire friendship, dude. What an honor.
I watch good streams, dude.
There's like knowing Joe Primo and you being in my stream is a nice like consolation, second place.
I'm a pretty avid stream watcher. I think most people know that.
Put in that toilet time. Watch a lot of streams.
All right, so we arrive in the ship graveyard. This is where all the floating ships seem to end up.
A lot of dragons have been lost in that whirlpool in days past.
That's why there's only 2 left. 1 left?
Who left?
Get out of here. Ah.
All right, did a couple of quick job changes. A thief, a knight, blue mages. Thief so we can sprint. The knight can defend the weaker party members, and the blue mages will be doing the damage.
You're scaring me, dude. Did I actually make a knight?
Oh no,
not
sorry.
supposed
That's
Just checking.
no.
Gotcha.
Don't check.
Thieves not only help you sprint, they actually prevent the possibility of you getting a back attack. And even though we will be getting levels here and there, we're going to be very underleveled for the entirety of the game. So getting back attacked is a good way to die. But with the thief, it will never happen.
They eventually teach the skill flee as well, which is just an instant run.
Yeah.
So we'll use that a little bit later on.
Thieves are just crazy good. There's almost not a time where you don't have one. Situations where you don't have one, probably not getting encounters and things like that, so.
Alright, so more cutscenes. They're all wet from walking through the water, and Lena's gonna go change, but Ferris won't change with the boys, and they don't know why. Oh, she's a girl.
Yeah, I rarely actually read the dialogue, but I'm pretty sure Galef said something like, I knew you were too beautiful to be a pirate. Whatever that means.
So the pirates found Ferris at a young age, raised her, and she decided to act like a man so they would respect her more.
With her dragon.
Mm-hmm. Had all sorts of friends. Ha ha ha.
But it's cool, dude. Been in the 90s already. They're like, so what if she's a girl? She's still cool.
World map in there. Don't need it. Alright, so now we have another boss. This is Siren. Kind of an
See
interesting boss.
why the black goblins from earlier were useful as well.
Yeah, so Goblin Punch has the mechanic that if you're the same level as the target you're using it on, it'll actually deal 8 times damage. And so that's nice for enemies when you're about their level or are their level, but for bosses, the game never really meant for you to use it on them. Because if you were playing casually, you'd be, who knows, I don't even know, 7, 8, 5, whatever, something. We're level 2, and so is the boss. So the way they kind of try to work around you ever using Goblin Punch on a boss is to make the boss technically very low level. But since we know that, we just The secondary goal to getting Goblin Punch in that fight is also to hit level 2, so that everybody's level 2, and we're just going to do a lot of damage to Siren.
It's based on attack power. So later on, there's a weapon you may have found called the Excalibur, which does no damage basically when you attack, but it boosts your attack power a ton. So if you have that, use Goblin Punch, and you're the same level, it just destroys enemies.
Yeah, Speedrun won't make use of that sword, but yeah, it's a cool mechanic for sure.
So Siren here brings up these hallucinations of memories past, and kind of puts them in a trance, but since Galoof doesn't know who he is, he doesn't know who the memory is. So he's not tranced, and snaps everybody out of him, and a fighter.
RNG time.
Yep.
I believe, man.
So Siren can do one of three things. First round, mute is good. So even though blue mages use magic, mute doesn't do anything. She can also, haste and protect herself, which obviously just slow the fight down considerably. Cure's fine, just means a little slower.
I'll take it. It's better than someone dying.
Yep.
So her best ability is speed-wise is to use mute and scan because they don't do anything to you. She can cure or armor, which will require that you use an additional Goblin Punch than you need. She can use damage spells, which you will die to. That's why I picked up the extra Phoenix down. And if she has haste, it gives her an extra turn, 3 turns instead of 2. And so all of those things can happen.
And if the battle lasts too long, casually she'll turn undead. Isn't a huge deal in the speedrun, but we won't ever see it. So we're out of the graveyard, and we're going to make our way down to the next town here.
Old Carwin.
We'll walk over to the side here, and there's going to be a hidden item. Get out of the way, NPC. Ice rod.
Rods are pretty broken in this game. You're going to see that coming up here shortly, but he doesn't just use it to equip it on a blue mage or something like that. It's actually a really cool mechanic. Again, the step manipulation is pretty much routed so that he runs into mountains, and at certain points, it's not like he's counting every tile he's walking on. He just knows by the path and the point of the mountain he stops in that's exactly where he needs to be.
So we're kind of stuck. The ship doesn't work, and there's no way out of this area. It's surrounded by mountains, but if you talk to some of the NPCs, they'll say that there's a dragon on the top of this mountain that might be able to help us out. So that's where we go to check it out.
Gaining some levels to hit level 3 there. Also intentional. He just really likes that cavern.
So whenever you go through a door, that doesn't count as part of the step. So if you get an encounter on that same step when you're going through the door, then you skip the encounter. So that's why he went back and forth a couple of times.
As you saw, walking over that flower patch also poisoned him. And so you're going to kind of see the screen shaking like that for a little while. But
Yeah,
that's going to be quite a while.
by a little while, I mean, if you don't like it, dim your monitor or something.
we're going to be poisoned for probably 20 minutes, so sorry.
Alright, so we got another boss right here. This is Medusa. We're going to use that ice rod we found. And you can see how strong it really is.
Okay, someone will die here. That's normal.
Yes.
You're hoping it's Ferris.
Nice.
Nice.
All right.
Good. So Bick is going to do some equipping in the menus here. So you see he used that ice rod, but by equipping it and then basically breaking it, it gives you a high-level magic spell, whatever elemental that rod is. It happened to be ice, so...
So if you don't kill Medusa very quickly, she summons a buddy. I can't remember his name.
Orza?
Yeah, something like that. And he's super strong and tanky. But luckily we can kill her fast enough that he doesn't show up. So this is Lina's Hydra from... Or not Hydra. What's the word?
Hail Hydra, dude.
Dragon?
Yeah, I guess dragon. Wyvern? Whatever.
Wyvern? Wyvern?
Wyvern, that's it. From her home castle. So she sacrifices herself to get the herb to heal it.
I would like to thank you very much for joining Team Wyverns, my friend.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the support.
I love you, Magus. Don't really need a ship when you have a Wyvern.
Well, speaking of support, remember that Save the Children keeps children safe from harms like poverty, abuse, neglect, exploitation, and violence. And if they existed in the world of Gaia, they may have kept her from being abducted by pirates as well.
Alright, so we can fly around on our Wyvern, and the only restriction is we can't go over mountains, and that's about it, really. So we come down here to the next castle, which is the water area. We're going to make our way to the water crystal here in a minute.
There's going to be another meteor, so
Prepare
just
yourself.
fair warning. It's not as obnoxious as the first one, but it's still kind of bad.
So Lina talks to the king, and the king's like, yeah, I heard about the wind crystal. I guess we should go check out the water crystal. And then a meteor appears.
Flying potato of doom. Feel like I'm there, man. Obviously, we're not going to stand idly by while the king and his men go chase down what's going on.
I'm going to ignore the meteor, though, for now.
Oh yeah, Walls Tower is obviously more important than some meteor strike.
So he's
That's
trying to get
a bummer.
a mithril sword from one of these dudes.
Come on!
There it
There
is.
we
All right.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, easy.
Right at the last minute. There's the king.
See ya.
Yeah, if Bick would have missed the third steal attempt there, he would have had to run away and go for a backup, but Joe Primo's on his side, so we're all good.
Pick up an ether real quick and make our way to the very top of the tower. Alright, this is our boy. Lulu.
So this is exactly why we got poisoned for this strategy here.
So you can see all the characters except for Ferris are in critical health, and that's going to come into play right there. So she's a knight, she covers, takes the damage.
Got him.
Yep, fight.
Very nice.
Yeah, so Galura is just like a super tough physical boss. He counters a lot. And so you put yourself in a position where basically physical damage is meaningless to you because you're just going to guard it all. But they have to be in critical, as mentioned before, so that's where the poison comes in. Now I don't need the poison for any strategies, but ultimately I just don't have a good way to heal it. So we just stay poisoned, just because there's really no other option.
So you may have noticed that Knight actually knows who Galoof is, but Galoof has no idea why he would know that or who he is, so more mystery. But the crystal shatters, which means we get 5 more jobs. Well,
And that knight also told Galoof to protect the fire crystal. That's a little foreshadowing, I suppose.
I was gonna say, do we use any of these? High mage. This is when we switch to 4 berserkers.
Oh no, Shard's missing.
Oh no, what was that one?
Hope it wasn't important.
Nope.
Got to reset now, right? That kind of looks like Texas when that sinks in, just saying.
Now it's gone. Yeah, it's Sildra.
Oh no.
Amazing to think that the dragon that lives in the water was able to live in the water. The wild plot twist no one saw coming.
Now we say bye to Sildra again. Forever.
Oh.
Don't die.
Sad.
We won't be seeing her again in the speedrun, but if you ever just play the DLC, you can get Sildra as a summon.
Final goodbye.
Then you move on.
All right, keep going. So if you were to go back to the castle, they'd talk about the crystal, but there's nowhere to really go that you can figure out. So you head into the Meteor and you find this teleporter. Oddly convenient.
Obviously, Primo goes in first to make sure it's okay.
Your hero.
And Galoof is having kind of flashbacks and recognizing places, but can't figure out exactly what it is yet.
Ah.
So here he's actually going to be switching Lina to a red mage, one of the new job classes that he picked up.
We are going to be making our way to Karnak. It's the fire town. Alright, so when you get to Karnak, it looks normal, everybody's there. And you go into the shop here, and you notice all the prices are super cheap. He's going to sell some stuff for money. And there's a reason for that, because the game wants you to buy something, which gets you arrested. But we take advantage of that price, discount, because we actually get the item. So he bought an ice rod.
On top of the money he got from selling those items earlier on, when he was grabbing chests, he grabbed like 990 gil out of one of them as well.
Wait.
Yeah, money, various ways, plays a huge role in this game, and especially in the early game, your money routing is pretty tight because you want to limit the amount of steps you have to take and amount of stuff you have to grab, but you do need to make sure you buy enough stuff that you can progress quickly also. It's about finding that balance, and you already saw one rod in action, and now we're in a place where we can just buy them, so you can probably imagine what the next few boss strats are going to look like. And so it's trying to figure out how to keep your money up to be able to get those things. And here's our boy Sid. He tried to escape the jail by blowing up a wall, but it was the wrong wall.
Classic Sid. I'm sure most people at this point know, but Sid is a reoccurring character that has some kind of feature in every Final Fantasy game, essentially. Whether he's a playable character, NPC, whatever it is.
Yeah, we got time to talk about some stuff.
All right, well, I just want to bring up the fact that we have that incentive for Blindfolded Limbo coming up. We are still $420 away from making that happen. So let's get those donations in. And with those donations, you have an opportunity to get in on winning some awesome gear from one of our sponsors, ViewSonic. They've been building monitors for over 30 years. And with a $40 donation, you can get in on winning a ViewSonic Elite XG240R. And we also have a second one that comes with a retro tank. So again, a $40 donation, that can get you in on the running for that.
Yeah, those retro tanks are really sick if you want to upgrade to a newer monitor but play your retro consoles. It does composite S-video component and gives you a virtually lagless input going into a newer LCD monitor or whatever you happen to have. Pretty sick.
Yeah, I own one and it's fantastic. I love it.
Just casual fires throughout the castle, keeping everybody toasty.
All right, now that we're free, we're going to go back to the town and stock up on those rods and a few other things.
Yeah, you notice this ship in the water is different than one you've seen before. That's the steamship. We'll be going there right after this.
So plot-wise, the fire crystal is on the ship and it's used to power it and drive it around, but something's wrong. So Sid's like, go check it out, see what's up. So the steamship as a dungeon is kind of a maze a little bit. There are branching paths and secret passages and all sorts of stuff. We're going to pick up a few chests. There's the world map again, see ya. But we're just going to basically take the most direct path, other than one little side trip.
There is a forced encounter coming up here as well. That Big's going to use some rods, and then he's actually going to have a small setup after that. But aside from that, just following the step route, and it is actually a pretty cool little dungeon. So doing some menuing and then using the same thing that he did before by breaking that ice rod. And you notice since we had actually more than one enemy to face that time, it does an AoE attack. It's not just a singular spell on one monster that you select.
All right, so this is the Queen of Karnak, and they don't know why she's here, but she's been possessed, and she's going to attack us with a monster called Liquid Flame. Liquid Flame's kind of interesting because he has 3 different forms. He's going to start out as this humanoid figure, and Bick is going to use one of the rods, and he's going to change form. Now we want him to go to the tornado phase. He did not, so we're going to attack him, and that's going to force him to change again. Nice crit. So we're going to have to revive Ferris and then use another rod.
Also, to keep track of his ATB when he's shattering rods or waiting for the enemy to finish their turn, you'll notice he's just doing some cleanup of his menuing. That way, he still stays on track with the fight, but he can clean things up for later.
So that last phase of Liquid Flame, we either want the humanoid or the tornado. The tornado is the best one because he drops a fire bow, which sells for more money, which we'll use for more equipment later.
Pretty interesting that a ship this large is run by a large block V8 engine. Pretty damn impressive. Sid's a master.
Gimme. All right, here's the fire crystal, and out of the back wall comes that werewolf that the castle scared off earlier. He can talk.
Borgaloof, man.
Oh no, what's this soldier doing?
I don't think that's a regular soldier, Shadow.
Really? The soldier flips the switch, which amplifies the power of the crystal, but the crystal's already weak, so it's gonna get destroyed. So the werewolf, our friend here, is gonna try to stop it to at least give us time to get out of here before it explodes. And he says, head to the earth crystal.
Yeah, for vowing to protect all the crystals, we're doing a pretty good job so
Bang
far.
up job.
All right, so figure this one out for me.
All right.
Fire crystal blows up,
Right.
so that means no more fires, just like no more wind or whatever.
Wrong.
No, because that.
Yeah.
But then how does it get so hot in the other
Yeah.
room that the dude dies if there's no fire? don't understand. This is the lore that Hactical
Yeah.
needs from you right now, man. Letting him down.
I know.
Well, just because fire isn't visible doesn't mean it's non-existent. So if you understand the physics of fire and the actual heat that is being put off.
So Big's going to go back into the room he just left, and he's going to hit up the heal pot real quick before he's on his way out of the castle.
All right, we're not poisoned anymore.
Yay.
That's nice.
So casually, you've got a time limit, 10 minutes. There's a bunch of chests in the castle, some really good items, honestly. But Big is just going to pick up 2, just with some money in it, and then get out as fast as he can. There are some trap treasure chests with monsters in them. The 2 big ones are the Elf Cape and the Air Lancet. Neither one will use, like I said. So that's about it. Get some money and get out.
We're really not equipped to handle the encounters
Yeah,
in
not
here
at all.
either, so
All right, so this is a kind of boss battle. This is a normal battle in the castle, but it's a little different in this fight. We're just going to quickly use a couple of rods to take care of it. Normally, if you let that sergeant stand still for too long, they will transform into Iron Claw, I think.
Yep.
And it's a much tougher battle, but if you get rid of them quick, doesn't matter.
then we're gonna go shopping again.
Gotta get that hot mithril items while they're available.
True.
And another destroyed crystal, more jobs.
Jay Primo was tired of them taking our gerbs. So time to get them back.
All right, so we got 2 very important jobs there, the Mediator and the Ninja. You'll see quite a bit of them later in the run.
Sure will.
That's right, Craig.
I'm trying.
You will.
I'm trying, guys.
Hey, I think you're doing great.
So with the bow, we're gonna have about 1,100 gil left, which is nice. If I didn't get the bow and I got the flame scroll instead, you'd have 19 left. And if you also didn't get the mithril sword, you couldn't actually buy that last spell. You'd have to get it later.
Picked up the life spell. Be nice.
So we got another boat, but it doesn't do anything. So we have to continue on to hopefully find some way of getting that boat to move. Yeah, we've got a couple of minutes here for messages.
All right. Well, I just want to call out Twitch here, our big sponsor for ESA Winter 20. We want to thank Twitch for sponsoring us and continuing the support of all of our speedrunning events. Twitch is a live streaming service that's operated by Twitch Interactive, a subsidiary of Amazon, and the site primarily focuses on video game live streaming, including broadcasts of esports competitions, and in addition to music broadcasts, creative content, and more recently, real-life streams. So thanks again, Twitch, for sponsoring ESA 2020.
All right, so we're in the ancient library, and if you were to talk to the people, they'd be like, our leader, Mid, went in search of some book, but he hasn't come back yet. Can you go help find him? So we're like, sure, that's what we do. So we make our way deep into the library, and we're going to make our way over here and open this book, and this is going to be the Summon Ifrit. We need him to advance the dungeon. Kind of the same strat. Got the ice rods. Gonna use them.
Played.
Got lucky. We actually won't use a single summon or the summoner job ever, but
This one's required.
Yeah. Is what it is.
So you may have noticed we had 2 black mages and 1 time mage in the party. It doesn't matter what mage it is, they can break rods. But time mage is inherently just a little bit faster, has a little bit more agility than the other ones, so we put that one in there to go first. That stealth robe adds agility, so we'll be using that. Agility is very important in this run.
Yeah, we're always going to be so low level that you don't ever want to be in a position, if you can help it, where people are going before you, if you can help it.
We've got this forced encounter here with this book. It'll change forms, and it's like 4 different things, or you can just run away. I didn't know that casually until I saw the speedrun. All right, so we got another boss here.
Can you guess what the strat is?
Yeah, this is this is Biblos. He's a book, but instead of ice rods, holy cow!
Slightly different strat.
Yeah. Gonna pull out the fire rods and burn the books. All right. So, give it.
Thank you, Big Gruber.
All right, so that boss fight was fine and all, but there's something much more important that Big's gonna do here in this room, and that is gonna be our first item dupe.
Yeah, we got some work to do before it's cutscene time.
Yep. Oops, sorry. All right, so we got 1 ninja and 3 thieves, and so this is kind of complicated. I'll try to explain it. He's going to equip an item and then throw it the spot where the item was. And what that does is it underflows that item. So when you steal the item, it goes into that slot with a bunch, like infinite items on there. You use 1 to get the game to recognize that there's a certain amount of items there. So now he's got like M5 or 255 of ethers, which we are going to use to sell for basically infinite money.
Enough money.
Enough money, yeah.
We're going to get somewhere around, after selling everything, including those ethers, around 192,000, something like that.
Yeah. Which will be enough for quite a while.
Yeah, you will have to supplement that throughout the run, but it's a good start to get things moving for sure.
All right, so we found Mid, and we tell him what's going on, and he's like, oh, Sid's my uncle or something, and we're going to go talk to him. And we've got time for that donation right there.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
We do. We got plenty of time.
I'm just kidding.
All right, well, we've got $35 in from Science Chubb. He's saying, blindfolded limbo run, shut up and take my money. And with that, we are at $315 out of $700 to make that happen, just about halfway. So keep those donations coming in. Hopefully we'll get to see some blindfolded limbo action later tonight.
All right, so we changed Lina to a mediator. Deuce, you want to tell what a mediator does? All right, so a mediator can capture enemies. So he's going to weaken it. Hopefully he gets 160. That's perfect. And then he can capture the enemy. And what that means is you kind of hold on to the enemy, and then you can release it later and use a special ability. And that will... We hold on to that one for a while, I believe. But even if you change jobs, I think you still hold on to the enemy. So we don't have to keep Lina as a mediator for the rest of the run.
Starting to become pretty clear who did their homework and who didn't. Not that I'm surprised.
Yeah, countdown.
Oh, man.
So Sid's up in the bar, drinking away his sorrows, and then Mid comes in and is like, stop it, dude. I need your help.
Also, Mid is Sid's grandson.
Grandson. Sorry, Hactical. Sorry.
Cole is
I'm
probably
so sorry.
really pissed off
He's
right now.
furious.
He's probably going to ask for his money back at this point in time.
I should just let Deuce do the rest.
Think of the children you just unsaved with your
Oh my
board.
gosh.
Wow.
All right, I'll match Hactical's 20 or whatever it was. Make up for it.
First Gusto, now this.
I had nothing to do with Gusto.
Gusto did no wrong, dude. Don't bring Gusto into
He
this.
tried his best. I'll give it to him.
So the book that Mid was looking for kind of shows how they could make the boat work without the crystal or without wind. So Mid and Sid are going to go work on the boat and give us access to the next area.
I could play that piano for kicks, but I'm not. Because who wants to do that?
Speedrun.
Exactly. Alright, gameplay and then cutscene.
Yes.
Made it.
Nice work, man.
Thank you.
Is this cutscene longer than you actually have the ship?
It's probably pretty
Yeah,
close.
probably.
Yeah, okay.
Probably. Oh, definitely. Yeah, this cutscene's actually pretty long. Our boy Gloof. Gloof?
Squid?
Galuf.
Starts to get some of his memory back. I don't really know why, but it's you know, the perfect time for other messages.
Absolutely.
Well, that's excellent. Just want to remind everybody what we're here to do, and that is to raise money for Save the Children. Did you know that Save the Children focuses on the most vulnerable children, including girls who are forced into early marriage, young boys and girls who are forced into dangerous working conditions, or children at risk of recruitment into armed groups? Your donation can help them save children throughout the world. Also keep in mind that all of your Twitch Prime subs, your regular subscriptions, any cheers that you do in the channel go straight to that charity as well.
Dropping some lore bombs
All
right now.
right, so
Just revealing that he actually came from another world. Came on a meteor himself. So that's why when we traversed between the two, he was like, seems familiar.
Maybe, just maybe, why he was right by the very first one in the beginning of the game. Maybe.
Probably coincidental, but maybe.
I mean, I didn't write the game, so speculating here.
He mentions Exdeath here during this cutscene, who maybe we'll find out about later. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's never seen a run before, so he's not sure.
all right, so Mid and Sid spent all night working on the ship, wore themselves out, and then they're going to give it to us, and we're going to take really good care of it.
Yes, we are.
Very low mileage.
So just like on land, you can get encounters in the sea, so step route still applies here. There are some parts where the step route doesn't go up for certain reasons I'm not going to go into, but still going to take very specific route.
Yeah, there's a point here when he gets a little further south that there's actually a giant section of non-danger tiles, basically, and he wants to avoid those at all costs. You notice at certain points when he's kind of hugging the shoreline, it looks like he might run into it, but just graphically, there's points where he can kind of run across the land, and it still counts as a step on his counter, like that there. So he's going to be hugging those as much as he can.
So this is Croissant Island, and we walk in, and immediately there is an earthquake, and all of Mid and Sid's hard work just goes away.
Made him drop his croissant. It's strange that the only whirlpool in the entire ocean was the exact spot the boat.
Really
was. Very
unfortunate.
unfortunate, yeah.
All right, so we can't go anywhere. We don't know what to do, but somebody mentions there might be a black chocobo down in this forest. And RNG.
All right, let's go.
Oh, jukes.
Wait.
Oh, he went through you. Oh, God.
It was almost good.
Got him.
It was good enough.
All right, so we got a black chocobo, but he broke. For some reason, he can't fly.
Primo's too muscular.
That's one theory.
Probably have time for a quick one.
All right, we've got an anonymous $40 donation
Nice.
saying joining the train for the blindfolded limbo seems good. That gets us inching ever closer. We are now a little over halfway at $355 out of $700 needed for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
115 black chocobo.
I like it.
I don't. Just kidding. It's pretty good.
So somehow that chocobo had some crystals in its mouth or something. I don't know. Got a few more jobs, and this is Licks. This is J. Primo's hometown.
That's right.
Reeks of liberty in here.
They sell freedom fries here all day, 24/7.
Is there any other kind of fry? But he got the Barden Hunter from the Chocobo back there, and now he's selling those ethers that he got to roll in the dough and pick up a few more items.
Yeah, so this town specifically up there sells a bunch of ninja gear, which we're going to use for a grind coming up here in just a minute. So ninjas have the ability called throw. They can either throw scrolls or things like weapons or shurikens. We're going to be using the scrolls to take out a group of enemies very quickly and really boost the levels significantly very quickly. These may be the best enemies in World 1 to grind. But he's going to have a couple of battles here, and you can go ahead and hit that donation.
Excellent. Well, we've got $50 from Malcorian. Says visiting to... Malcorian says he's visiting from the States for his first ESA. This is freaking awesome. Couldn't agree more.
USA.
Having
Taking
a great
over.
time.
All right, so these are mini dragons. They're pretty strong, actually, but thankfully we have these thunder scrolls. Just 2 of them will take care of them, and as you can see, just getting a ton of levels. And the thief learned escape, which is important.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, the thief will be able to exit battles immediately. And he is actually set up in a particular way here, so when he gets into this third and final encounter, he can actually do a half step back onto the black chocobo.
Just casually gaining 7 levels?
Yep.
No big deal.
I mean, casually, he's still incredibly underleveled.
Yes.
If you were playing this game. But for the speedrun, it's all we need.
Yeah, you're basically just trying to meet minimum HP thresholds at this point in time. We're definitely still underleveled. But when you can be very intelligent about your job use and, money is not a problem,
Right.
then you get away with a lot for sure.
So
Back
we're
to the
at
ancient library
Yep.
here.
And we're like, we wrecked your boat.
I love how casual they are. They're just like, oh, it's cool, no problem.
Build you another one.
We didn't have anything else to do anyway.
So now they're telling you Lena's dad crossed the desert, so that's where you're gonna head now?
Finally, the problem that we heard about in childhood, the quicksand.
Now we're gonna put on that wonderful escape ability. Because I'm actually low enough level now that running from battles is actually gonna be really hard to do without that ability.
Pretty much any time you see him enter the menu there, he's just doing a half step.
All right, so since the Earth Crystal is still functioning, all of this sand is in our way, and we can't make our way across. But Mid and Sid are like, oh, there's a monster here that might be able to help you out, so we're going to summon this really powerful monster to try to help us. Nothing could go wrong.
This is a really nice boss, too. Vic loves it.
Got a lot of history. The sandworm.
The sandworm. So his gimmick is there are 3 holes. He can appear in any of them. If you miss attacking, then the hole will use Dimmy. Alright, it's the worst position, but whatever.
Yeah, it's just 2 extra inputs from if you have to throw to the front. So, I mean, we're losing frames, but
It's dead.
Every frame counts, man.
it's true. Yeah, older strats used to use water scrolls, and you would only need 2, but since water scrolls hit everybody, you would actually have to eat 4 demis. That was never fun. Again, just trying to pick up quick amounts of XP and AP.
So even though the battles are, step routed, and he knows where he's going to get everything, there is the chance that enemies will have random drops, and he's going to ignore them all the time, just because it's going to mess up his inventory management and everything like that. Everything he needs, he's going to pick up intentionally or buy from a store or whatever.
First menu is a nice frame perfect one, by the way.
So there's the King of Tycoon. We're looking for him. So he goes over to the right, but we're going to go to the left. And there he is. And he's going to go up there, but we're going to go back to where we started. You just need to trigger those 2 things to continue on. Otherwise, you chase him on, and there's more of this stuff. But you just need those 2. And then you see him, and you fall.
You saw Lena call out to her dad, and Ferris, he's slightly confused.
I'm already hungry, dude. Doesn't bode well.
Laura went to McDonald's.
You want a polyzoo?
I would love a polyzoo. Thank you.
No, thank you.
That was a milk chocolate. Might have a zoo flavor later.
So the characters are like, oh, Gloof's dead. And he just kind of sneaks up on him.
Yeah, they try to throw a lot of comedy in this game.
It definitely doesn't fall flat either.
So we're in this like technologically advanced area under this former town, and we get sent on this teleporter back to Croissant Island.
Croissant Island. edge of your seat suspense.
Very dramatic.
Yeah.
Almost didn't make it.
In the dive. Love it.
Get up, LeBron. There's a lot of just really strange coincidences that happen in this game.
Find the steamship, and then there's this other weird looking ship.
Sid is beyond hype at the airship.
Did he just moonwalk? That's awesome. You want to explain the depth, just the sheer depth for the next boss? The sheer amount of strategic depth needed to tackle the next boss?
I'm actually going to let it speak for itself, I believe. It's intense, so be ready.
Do you want serious time?
It might be good, to be honest.
Okay. Why not?
I guess we're in an airship that's flying in the air.
Oh no, a monster. Close one. Man.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So luckily he's weak to thunder, and we've got those scrolls, so see ya.
Yeah, there's a lot of abusing certain mechanics in this game for sure. You use Goblin Punch for a while, you use rods for a while, you use scrolls for a while.
Yeah.
The next things that you use for a while. Yeah.
So I mean, luckily we were able to dupe that, ether and get all this money to buy this stuff, because otherwise those scrolls are actually pretty expensive, and you won't be able to buy but a few at a time.
Probably got time for a message here while we're cruising around.
Yeah.
All right, well, while we're flying across the ocean, I'd just like to remind everyone watching at home that every penny from your Twitch subscription goes directly to Save the Children. Are you an Amazon Prime member? Every month, you get a free subscription you can use to support the channels you love. Subscribing will give you an ad-free experience and that warm, fuzzy feeling of supporting ESA and Save the Children. So hit that subscribe button right now, everyone.
You know what? I believe my Twitch Prime is actually available.
Boom.
So, can I do this on my phone?
This whole time I thought you were just being rude by being on your phone, but it was just to save the children. Get you.
Finally, Craig is thinking about someone else. Yeah, the next couple battles that Bick is going to get into are pretty much more of the same, just abusing what he purchased and breaking rods. Pretty good stuff. But the last boss actually dropped an ice bow that he had to discard, but those are all super important because if he goes to use his rod, like we mentioned earlier, it's just frames here and there, or maybe a second or two, but having a mismanaged inventory will definitely add up over the entirety of the run.
All right, so we have the airship now. We can go wherever we want. There's no restrictions on where to go. But we're going to check out these meteors that have all fallen to the ground. And we start out with the first one that landed where we found Galoof and Lena.
Yeah, because he thinks there's adamantium in here.
So that giant, like, island of mech that is erupted from the ground, we can't get high enough to get it without the adamantium. So Galoof is like, oh, there was some in my meteor.
I thought you needed the pink tail for adamantium, dude.
Wrong game.
Oh.
It's your boy Timmy.
Alright, so again, kind of the same strat. He's got super high defense, so attacking doesn't do much. But we got scrolls. And an ice rod.
Well done.
Got him. That.
Alright, so we got the adamantium. That's what we need. So we're going to go back to Mid and Sid. Give it to them, and they're going to upgrade our ship.
I feel like sometimes things get kind of lost when you see boss battles like that, where just like they just die so fast every time, and it feels like uninteresting sometimes. And it's just a lot of the work really goes into figuring out how to kill bosses as quickly as possible, and how to get the resources and ability points and stuff that you need to get there. So I think that's where a lot of the interesting stuff is. Sometimes it doesn't always translate to the most exciting boss battles, but it's a lot going on to like just be able to perform a route like this or come up with a route like this. Routes changed multiple times since I first ran the game in 2015. Lots of big changes. When I first put the game down, my PB was a 358. Now my PB is a 338. So gives you a good idea of just how different things are from back then.
Alright, so with the upgrade to our airship, we're able to come up to this fortress, and we're going to have to fight some turrets, and then there's a main boss that appears. And same strats, lightning scrolls.
It's just one of those things, man.
Yep.
Everything's weak to Thunder Scrolls.
It works, so why not?
Actually, 2 of these battles are going to drop 2 speed potions each. And that actually won't necessarily happen if you're off-step routes. This is one of those weird little things that you probably don't think about when you're off-step route, but it even will change what drops I'm getting. And it doesn't matter. You can buy speed potions later on in the game.
Yeah, we'll actually use those speed potions, maybe. Alright, so that was the last of the 4 turrets, and then Soul Cannon will appear. Take care of the last part before we can enter the fortress.
It's huge.
Alright, so, I mean, not a whole lot to say about Soul Cannon. It's kind of an interesting fight casually. It's got 3 parts. Each part will do different things, different attacks. And then the main cannon itself will charge up and do a pretty powerful attack if you don't destroy it fast enough. But this is a speed run, so no worries about that.
This boss is like There's a lot of gatekeeper bosses.
Yes, this
already.
one's very tough.
Yeah.
Shout outs to that airship in the background, by the way.
I didn't even notice it until I came back to the game. I had never known it was there until someone else pointed it out.
Huh.
It's really cool.
All right, let's soul cannon.
Easy. Next boss is actually kind of difficult.
Yes.
But for that one, yeah, you definitely just hold A and win.
Yeah, that's part of that memory cursor stuff. Once you've selected the item once, you can just hold A so it does it again immediately. Just picking up some more experience on the way. So in addition to the step route in this area, there are actually tiles that you could fall through in certain areas, so he's going to make sure to avoid those as well. Okay, real quick, a menu here. So we're gonna make Lena that mediator again. We captured that enemy way back when. We were quiet during that part because that's actually pretty tight. So this enemy is kind of interesting. I don't know the exact mechanics of it, but it's got like multiple life capacities or something. So we're gonna take it down to some damage, and then.
So he's actually, this is the first instance of Bic counting damage.
Yeah.
So if it's under 1500, then he's going to change up the strats a little bit and he'll cast fire, but...
Now we wait. There it goes. So, yeah. That rainbow when attacked uses a drain attack, so slowly drains the HP.
Nice, dude.
Well done. No, yeah, so there are 3 or 4 forms to that boss. They each have a 1600 HP threshold. And if you go over that threshold or are close to that threshold, then the script is to basically counter by changing into the next form. And they all have different weaknesses and abilities and things like that. It's a long fight. Then you'd kill it and it actually comes back and is immune to magic. And it's kind of a nightmare. An old routing used, scrolls, rods, geomancers, so your PJ party, but they're off now. So the key here is that if you do direct damage over the 1600, then it'll swap over. But actually, if it just runs out of HP with the sap ability, then it'll just die. And so that's the strat there, to where you read damage and then you sap, and then you adjust from there, as mentioned before. So it's kind of funny that I actually had high damage rolls and did about 1528. And you're going to do somewhere around 30-ish damage waiting for the next turns, which would have put him over 1550, 1560. And then fire, if I tried to use fire, it would have done over 1600, and then I would have been boned. So I actually just had to sit and wait it out. If I'd actually done a little bit lower damage, I could have casted one fire and had it go a little bit faster. But it's just one of those things, like, you can't control what the damage rolls are, so you just learn to roll with it.
Yeah, so this little blonde-haired girl busts in, and it's Galoof's granddaughter, Kara. And he remembers everything. Hooray. And we've got time for a couple
We have
messages.
a lot of time.
This is
One of the longest sequences. So.
Excellent. Well, I just want to remind everybody that we do have some awesome prizes up for grabs right now. We have a couple pieces of fine art. We have Italian plumber sitting in a shoe at an autumn evening. And we also have a still life of mankind conquering the sky. Those are both available for a $35 minimum donation. And if you get in on that, remember, you can put those donations towards incentives. And one of those incentives that we have coming up is that blindfolded limbo run. And I really want to see that more than anything. So if you can get in some donations on that, we're getting closer. We're at $360 out of the $700 that we need for that to happen.
So, with the last crystal destroyed, the barrier on Exdeath's tomb or whatever is released, and he's free to wreak havoc.
Sorry. Filter came off.
And while Dusler's adjusting his mic, I'd like to put a shout out to ViewSonic Elite. Now, ViewSonic's been the innovators of gaming monitors for years. Did you know that in 1990 they designed the first CRT monitor on the market? And by 2010 they designed the first 120 Hz 3D 22-inch widescreen display with a 1 millisecond response time. In 2019, ViewSonic launched ViewSonic Elite, pushing the boundaries with multiple 240 Hz gaming monitors using the latest in FreeSync and G-Sync technology. And again, you can win one of those monitors that you see right there in front of you. Those donations, that one. Yeah, that one right there.
Bick will sign it for you.
I will.
You can get in on that with, I believe it is a $40 minimum donation. And again, remember that we do have a bundle, one of those coming with a retro tank.
Looking pretty right on time, man.
Yeah, so far so good. Definitely playing a little bit more cautiously, but overall, pretty solid. Probably not sub 150 Titan though, so Countdown and Tonic are going to be mad at me.
Tonic donated now. You might get sub 150.
Oh yeah, Lena's and Fair's dad's dead now.
Right, yes. King
That-
Tycoon.
That happened.
So you kind of find out he was possessed by Exdeath, doing all these bad things. And then with his last remaining strength, breaks the possession. Some very, very important jobs here. Specifically Dragoon.
I mean, in the olden days, Dragoon was used once.
Yep.
Now it's out. There's a total of 13 jobs in this run.
There's 22, 21 total?
Something like that, yeah.
And it's really cool, the job system, because as you level up, you can learn the skills and you can change jobs and use some of those skills with the other jobs. And we're going to take advantage of that, of course. But the big ones are Chemist and Samurai. You're going to see a lot of them.
You sure will. But don't worry, Mediators will come back
Yes.
in like an hour or so. This was always my go to the bathroom and refill my water segments. It's so long, dude.
A lot of lore here happening.
There's
All
a lot of
right.
lore.
Galoof explaining Exdeath for the most part.
What about him?
Well, he's a wizard that he knew roughly 30 years ago, but so him and his granddaughter Kara have to leave.
Where are they going?
Oh,
All right.
probably to World 2. Bro.
That's exactly where they're going.
Just
But-
curiosity would get the best of me. I'd say we're fixing to travel back to other meteors and head somewhere else.
So like Deuce said, Galoof and Kara are going to head back to their home world and try to protect it from Exdeath, and we're going to have to figure out what to do here. But in the meantime, got time for a donation.
All right. Solar Cell 007 chimes in with $10. Says that hopefully Shadow Killer hasn't brought as many miracles to this run. Good luck.
Jeez. Thanks, Solar. Yeah, that was a disaster.
That run was incredible.
Hey, man, you made it to the end.
Yeah.
Which was
I shouldn't have.
no.
No, you really shouldn't have. It's awesome. You had a good run. This guy had an epic 1v1 duel with Solar Man. It all worked out. But here they're going to resolve to try to follow the other two to their world some way, somehow. They don't really know how, but they're going to check out these meteors, see what's up.
So Primo is now a chemist and got some mithril equipment put on him, and we also have a ninja in the party, or samurai, excuse me.
So you come up to this meteor and you see the black chocobo and you're like, what's that doing there? But Mid and Sid are here, of course, to help out.
They're already ahead of you. They know what's up. So now the goal is to visit all the rest of the meteors. So it's kind of like a weird little boss rush sort of thing.
There's a fairly familiar face coming up too, in the boss rush, that is.
And so because the meteors themselves are no encounter areas, this is a good example of not needing a thief in my party at all. And we were thief long enough, I can just put the dash ability on and still be able to sprint while being able to still have access to samurai abilities and things like that. What we're going to be doing is trying to build up a lot of AP for these big time jobs that will be used the rest of the run, pretty much.
That actually was like the thinking head meme before it. Innovative stuff.
All right, so this is Puroboros. Chemist is going to use a drink, which is the giant drink.
Not yet.
No, not yet, sorry. That's, yeah,
It's just setting
it's
memory.
just that one.
You may see that Gil toss a time or two. as
Yeah.
well.
So the kind of the mechanic with that boss is if you kill one, he'll use life 2, which will revive the other ones. So you don't need to kill them all at one time. It just extends the battle if you don't. So we got Guild Toss, and it's super powerful. So it makes quick work. So we move on to the next meteor.
Cosmic Brain Man. This battle is going to be more of the same, but take 2 turns instead of 1, so you'll see a swift menu over to defend by our boy Bick here.
RNG time. No! So you actually want J Primo at full HP for the next fight, so it's not a big deal. I just have to go into the menu
Extra menu.
and heal him. So it's a time loss, but it's not a big deal. I know it's really strange to see me get some bad luck, but it has to happen from time to time.
Never lucky, dude. Damn fine menu, though, I might add.
Thank you.
I feel like you've done that a lot for some reason.
More of the same. Check out the meteor, and what do you know? There's a monster.
Monsters are in there. This meteor is quite a bit bigger. It's got a whole nother room.
So Bick mentioned that he needed J Primo at full health. He's going to use the giant drink, which doubles your current HP. And so the reason for that is after you kill Titan, he kind of has a last-ditch effort, and he's going to use Earthshaker, and we wouldn't be able to survive it otherwise.
Oh, dude, it
Yo,
was sub 150.
yo,
Oh
nice.
my god, dude.
GG.
World record pace. Not really, but
We are in Sweden. It is a world record pace.
sorry. You do that one more time?
No, I'm good. Bad Breaks just linked my pace band in the chat.
Okay, bro.
So in the last 2 hours, basically, Sid and Mid saved our world, more or less, single-handedly.
So by going to all of those meteors, there's this portal that opens up in our world that links us to the second world, and that's where we're going. So quick cutscene, and we got time for a donation.
All right, our very own Tiny Tim is throwing $5 at you. He says, "Hey all, had to donate for the fabulous bichphuongballz in the Final Fantasy V run. Shoutouts to Dusler and Shadowkiller for the awesome commentary, and cheers."
Thank you.
And that $5 is going towards Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the voice line randomizer.
Oh,
Nice. Thanks, Tim. For some reason, World 2 is years ahead music-wise, also. They know how to bop out here.
They probably came up with Sour Please as well.
I've never seen Sour Please. When I go back and watch the VOD, I'd love to see it.
so our intrepid heroes get transported to this second world, but they don't know where they are, and there's no way off this island, so we don't know what to do. But if you fight a battle, you'll fight an enemy that drops a tent over and over and over again, so maybe you should use a tent. And we do. And we get more cutscenes. Hooray.
This is a really high-quality tent, also, complete with foliage, trees, floral, and fauna.
Actually, it's not a very good tent.
Get hit up by the abductor.
The abductor. You can fight this thing and try to kill it, but there's no real reason to. In fact, we're going to help it out. Game over.
Yeah.
But wait.
Scripted battle, so it's just all about the battle ending and doing what-
Fastest ways to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're in jail again. 2 times? Second time?
Second time, yeah.
What we do. Joe Primo can't be held down by the law. We'll be out
He
soon
is the
enough.
law.
He is the law.
Here's a first appearance of Exdeath. He's basically a poor man's Golbez. Pretty epic scenery.
Exdeath is showing Galoof and Kara that he has their friends captured, and they're like, you better not do anything. But they're not going to pay attention to that, so... Instead of launching some sort of full force attack, Galoof decides he's going to try to sneak in by himself and save them. Our boy Gilgamesh.
Yeah, you may be familiar with Gilgamesh if you've played pretty much any Final Fantasy. Team Wyburn's helping out again.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a pretty big bridge.
It's pretty big. Probably the biggest I've ever seen. But maybe I haven't gotten out enough.
So Galoof lands in the castle conveniently next to this chest, which has all of your equipment in it. Just leaving that laying around.
A lot of miscellaneous Stars and Stripes apparel.
Jail bear. It's my favorite enemy, dude.
We used to hunt those back in Alaska. Elusive jail bear. Of course, the thief. Now we're gonna take the sprinting ability away and switch to the old samurai. Get Giltoss going. This is probably the best Gilgamesh sprite as well, in my opinion.
We'll never see him again.
Oh, that was definitely it. That was also an event tile down there that Galoof walked on, so when you go across it, that doesn't count. Quick little slide.
All right.
Another half step right before Big Bridge here.
And it's time for the sour pleases in chat. The jam.
The jam.
Yep.
So this bridge has a bunch of encounters on them that are those event tiles, but Bick knows where all of them are, and other than a couple can walk around them, so... Alright. Well, job changes and our boy's back.
Oh shoot, he's back already. What do you know, dude?
Pretty quick.
Nice dodge.
So we got a little bit of a cutscene within the fight, and Bick's just going to do some inventory management while he's got the time.
Sure, whatever.
You don't get any experience from this fight, so it doesn't really matter that the character's dead.
You can get lucky and have someone not die, but
Right.
it's pretty rare. It's just is what it is. Totally brain farted there. I was like, what do I do?
Probably hit a quick donation.
Yeah.
All right, well, while Big's throwing money at all the enemies, we've got Tomaine throwing $10 our way. Says FF5 is a great game, and being able to keep up with a step route always blows my mind. And by the way, bless your heart for the Swedish impression, Dusler.
I learned a lot about it in 1513 last night.
And that $10 is going towards Chrono Trigger 100%. It looks like Tomaine wants to name Marley Jerry.
Thanks for the donation.
Yeah, Tomaine, thanks, man. Here we are on Grocery Anna.
So this is our first chance to actually kind of explore the new world. Get thrown out in the middle of nowhere, so we just need to wander around until we can find somewhere that can lead us in the right direction.
We have a lot of money.
Yes.
We could potentially buy some wares at this new world. If only we could find somewhere. Unfortunately, there's a lot of steps till we get there. Of course, just a few more item pickups here.
Alright, so we bought some healing items, some status cure items, and some revivifies, which we'll use in a couple different ways. But other than that, we're just gonna keep making our way down here, and we got time for a donation.
That's great, because we've got a big one. We've got $100 from Ronan Raven.
Nice.
He says, greetings from California. Good luck and thank you to all the runners. And that $100 is going towards our Limbo blindfolded hard route. So that brings us even closer. We are now at $460 out of $700. We can taste it. We're almost there.
Yeah, let's finish that one up here before this runs
That'd
done.
be excellent. There was a big chunk right there that would right along the shoreline that was a no encounter zone or a no danger tile area, and Vic tried to stay in that as much as possible to stay on his step route.
So we come into this forest and we see our friend the Moogle. Everybody who's played Final Fantasy is familiar with Moogles, but he runs away because he's scared of us humans. But we're going to try to chase him down.
That sprite is so good.
This place is just kind of a drag. Every encounter in the water is mandatory. Like there's nothing you can do about it. So I can still step route and avoid encounters on the ground like this, which we will, but here, just got to deal.
You don't even get Ultros at the end as a reward. Damn shame.
Moogle Eater.
Google Eater. All right.
Yep.
All
So
right, time.
Coming in hot. Let's
yeah,
go.
this is a great boss. I'll let it happen before I talk about it.
Just hoping for luck here.
All right.
Easy.
Every time.
All right.
Beautiful.
So
I'm applauding luck.
Clap for RNG.
So that's an undead boss. Obviously, if you use Phoenix Down on it, it just instantly kills it. But it doesn't always work, and unfortunately, like I've seen 3-4 times in a row where nothing happens, and it's a 50-50 shot, right?
It's more than that.
It's more than that?
Yeah.
Okay. But luckily, we got it first try.
Especially on Tyrosaur. But using a Phoenix Down is basically like making an attack, so there's an innate chance to miss based on the enemy. And you pretty much get first try every time on Tyrosaur, but sometimes it doesn't work out.
So this is a little kind of tutorial part, I guess. The Moogle's showing you don't walk on the desert because you'll die. So So he's showing you the path that you can take. There's no encounters in any of this forest or any of the green tiles. So it's totally free if you take that route, but we're step routed, so we can manipulate it and walk through the desert, so it's faster. So while Bic's doing that, why don't you hit us with that next donation?
All right, we've got $5.01 from Patty2 Plays.
Patty.
He's telling us that J Primo is the best Primo.
Agreed.
And he has split that donation up. He has put $5 towards the 8-bit soundtrack for DuckTales Remastered, and 1 penny towards naming Abra Deluxe in Pokemon Red Blue.
Well, we'll see if that does anything.
Okay.
It's a good sign that I didn't get
Yeah.
anything in there, but you never know. Sometimes there are moments like you. Sometimes there's only specific situations where doing a full menu in the overworld actually changes the threat value. So it's very possible that didn't do anything, but it's also very possible that it did do something. I'm not really gonna know for a while. It's just one of those things. That's like the major trouble with keeping up a step route sometimes. It's like I know everything. I'm like really confident about it, not really feeling nervous about it at all. But sometimes if you just lose focus real quick, then you just do the wrong thing, and sometimes that kind of stuff happens. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's a freebie for me, but you never know.
So here you picked up a nice chunk of gil and a dancing dagger.
Now we just kind of wait for the Moogle to come out and say hi.
Pretty soon. But I am a little late because I sat in the entrance for a little while. So yeah, there it is. It's a consistent amount of time for him to come out. So usually there's a music cue that I know he's going to come out, but I lagged a little. And now we have one of the other longer segments of just cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. If there's anything else to plug or at any time during this sequence, then feel free.
All right. Well, I just want to remind everybody that Save the Children is our charity of choice this go-around with the ESA 2020. Did you know that to ensure that the most vulnerable families have the funds to give their children the right kind of food and care needed to stay healthy, that Save the Children makes sure that expectant mothers and babies receive care and information before, during, and after childbirth, so that babies have the best chances of surviving, growing, and developing. I also want to take a moment to remind everybody that the Limbo Blindfolded Hard route is getting closer by the minute. We are at $460 out of $700. So we are $240 shy of that. And with that $240, did you know that could stock 2 libraries in a school in the US and give, malaria pills for 80 children? So get that $240 in, let's see that blindfolded hard route, and let's continue to get money in for Save the Children.
So Moogles have some sort of telepathic ability. They can talk to each other. And the Moogle in the castle tells Kara where her friends are, so she takes the wyvern and goes to pick them up. See ya.
See ya.
Great movement, Bic.
Hit me with that Galliflor, dude.
All right, so we're back at this castle, which we saw earlier, and we're going to come out here, and these soldiers are going to come up and call Gallif king, and J Primo's going to freak out about that. He's like, "You're a king, dude?" "Yeah, I'm a king. You don't believe it?" But yeah, so this is Gallif's castle, and we are going to, I don't know, leave. It's not that exciting. But here's his boys.
But yeah, earlier, Galuf had said that Exdeath actually sealed him and Kara in the meteor and sent him to the other world. So it's a little more telling now. You understand that he's a king. Like, why would Exdeath just want this normal guy in a meteor? But he's somebody, actually. Thought you were just an old man. Better sprite. Butts or
Benjamin?
Benjamin? Better shrug sprite.
Benjamin's got that shoulder action.
He's got, you can't put the movement into it. That's a little unfair. Because it's more of like a hand wiggle.
That's true.
Benjamin's got the facials, though.
Facial.
Clear facial.
Hey, more cutscenes.
While we're watching these lovely cutscenes, let's put a shout out back to Twitch. Thank you, Twitch, for sponsoring ESA Winter 20 and your continued support of speedrunning events. Now, Twitch is a live streaming service that's operated by Twitch Interactive, a subsidiary of Amazon. And the site primarily focuses on video game live streaming, including broadcasts of esports competitions, in addition to music broadcasts, creative content, and more recently, real-life streams. Remember that your subscriptions, your cheers, all that stuff that you can do there in chat, that goes directly to Save the Children, and it helps to keep ESA alive.
So, Kara just told us that the dragon is sick and it's dying because it overstrained itself flying back and forth with everyone. So now we're headed down to go and get a plant to hopefully help it out down in old Dragon Valley. But there's definitely some interesting movement that Big's gonna have to do while he's there.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Maybe we'll just go straight through, but I think we'll probably be all right. So here's the abductors that we saw earlier. You can probably guess what we're gonna do, but don't let your parents lie. Money solves all problems.
Okay, we might be able to find out where we are here. We'll see. Just gonna kind of just do everything and see if it works out or not. The best part about losing or possibly messing up is you get all these cutscenes to think about it.
Yeah. So this is the Werewolf Village, and you kind of walk around and there's nobody there. And then you walk into this one house, and Kelgar is here. He's the leader of the werewolves, and one of the 4 warriors that sealed Exdeath away way back when. And he and Galuf are friends, but he wants to test our boy J Primo, which is just a mistake.
He gonna learn today. About to taste the mighty fist of freedom.
Can't overpower liberty.
So J Primo doesn't know his own strength. Takes out Kelgar pretty hard there.
Classic Primo.
Man.
Primo doesn't go halfway, man. 0 to 100. You're gonna get a little backstory here that I'm sure local lore expert Shadow Killer can fill us up on.
Yeah,
That's kind of rude, dude. Yeah, I wanted to go in about his dad.
All right.
Go ahead, Shadow.
No, have at it.
Well, they revealed to J. Primo that his father, Dorgon, is actually from World 2, or their world, however you like to call it. So this is them discussing sealing away Exdeath, but... So they knew J. Primo's dad, and unfortunately for him, it wasn't president, but...
Yeah, so that kind of gives you the 4 warriors of light or whatever originally that sealed away Exdeath. That technique that J. Primo used against Kelgar gave it away. He was like, oh, that's my dad. But good old Dorgon has fallen in love with a woman from this world, so he decides to stay here and live out his life.
Classic Dorgon.
All right, so you have to go through all that just so you can take the back gate. Learn some history. Well, we'll just keep going and we'll see what happens.
I believe, dude. I believe, actually.
Appreciate it.
There's actually quite a few things that are going to happen here. We'll kind of tackle them as they go. All right. We're good. I mean, this is exactly where you
Yes.
wanted to encounter, so
That was a very good sign.
yes. We en route.
I'd like to thank God.
Thank Jeebus.
Yeah.
So there'll be quite a few little dancing in and out of rooms that Bic's going to be doing here, and lots of taking extra steps, and grabbed a bone mail right there.
Bone
as you
mail, which
saw.
is gonna, you'll see it a few times. Bone mail has really high defense, but also gives you the status of being undead. So we'll use both of those to our advantage later.
That's a really, really good item.
Yep. I remember casually I never used it because you couldn't heal in battle.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right, RNG time.
Okay. This is our boy the zombie dragon. 1.
Ooh, come on.
Ow.
Alright.
All right.
2's fine. What's average? Like 4
That's fair.
total?
Yeah. Double second try both is
Yeah.
average.
So we're gonna have another zombie dragon fight here in a little bit. Do the same thing. What we want are the dragon fangs that they drop. Nice.
Nice.
Good.
Plus the experience doesn't hurt.
Here is the the plant that we're grabbing for Team Wyverns, but it's not just any ordinary plant.
It's alive.
So we've got the main plant there, the Here You plant, and it's got the little flowers around it. And the flowers each use different like status effects. So we're going to get rid of them as quick as we can, and also just guild toss until this thing dies. Go.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just one of those things where if like you let bosses in this game do anything, then you get pretty messed up. Like they can be really annoying.
He's switching Galoof to a time mage here, and you'll see why.
And we picked up Exit in Galoof's castle in one of the chests. And get out of there. Alright, so we're going to make our way back to the castle, give the plant to the dragon, heal him up, and in the meantime, we got a couple of donations. Will we hit those?
Absolutely. Patty2 Plays gives us another $5. He doesn't give a comment, but he's put that $5 towards putting the voice language to French for the furry speedrun mode. So thanks, Patty. And then we have $25 from Bad Weather Girl. Bad Weather Girl is saying, go, Skybolt Zack! And that money's going towards the Skybolt Zack 80% final boss, while colorblind incentive. So thank you so much, Bad Weather Girl.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the donations, guys. Still want to get that Limbo one, though, before we're done here.
Got a little under an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Try
about
to make it.
hour and 16 minutes.
Oh, yes. Yes. 2-minute PB right here with a name.
And we are still $240 away from that incentive.
You think that time is the same for Primo?
So Kara there was having a dream or some sort of communication with an old sage, and she's saying that he knows a way to get to Exdeath. So now that we can finally heal our wyvern here, we're going to go make a quick visit to the sage and see what he's got to say.
He's only like 700 years old. He's not too old.
This is one of the memes for the game because Lena poisons herself in the game like 2 or 3 times or something like that.
See, it's okay. I'll eat it too.
Hey, man. You had kids. You do what you got to do to get them to eat. I don't, but I've heard.
Wyburn's good, but Lena's been in bad shape, so Kara heals, so Lena's good, and then Kara's gonna be in bad shape. Nobody understands self-care in this game.
You know, every time I watch you run this, the only thing that I think is like, they had more lore and cutscenes to go along with the speed in it. It would really kind of tie it all together, you know? It would be the rug for the room, if you will.
Just pace things a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can think about your life's decisions more. Plus, you know, people like reading the dialogue. You can't even mash too fast either. Alright. It's almost time for gameplay.
Oh.
It's dragon time.
Kind of overrated, honestly.
Well, don't worry. It's not going to be that much gameplay.
Yeah, we'll have time for messages soon.
Yeah.
Just not quite yet.
All right, so we're going to make our way up to this island. There's only one way out of this area because it's surrounded by mountains and we can't fly over mountains. Conveniently, it's right here, and if we go up just a little bit, this is where our sage lives. So we're going to head into this cave and try to find our sage. But first...
Donation.
All right, well, a friendly Moogle has given us $5. And he's telling us just a reminder to stand up, stretch, and squat once an hour during long gaming sessions.
Thanks, friendly Moogle.
That's great advice.
Our friendly Moogle also wants the Astral Chain Any % character choice to be male for that game. That's what that donation has gone towards.
Whoa.
So,
That's Exdeath.
You a voice actor, dude?
I could
You
be.
did have that accent.
Yeah.
Just like dead on, to be fair, yeah.
so Exdeath catches on to our plan to talk to the sage, and he decides to sink the island that the sage lives on. So, well, now what are we going to do?
Go swagging on our dragon, probably.
Yep.
I don't know. Probably need to take a nap here pretty quick. Feeling a little drowsy.
You and everybody else.
So this is the fourth and final original Warrior of Light. This is Ziza. And he happens to have a fleet of ships over by Exdeath Palace, so you land the dragon on his ship, and they talk about a plan to get into the castle. And we've got some time for any messages you got.
All right. Just want to remind everybody watching at home that, again, every penny from your Twitch subscriptions and your cheers is being passed on from ESA to our partner, Save the Children. Again, if you're an Amazon Prime member, every month you are provided with a free subscription that you can use to support the channels you love. Sick of being interrupted by ads? Well, subscribing will give you an ad-free experience and that awesome feeling that you are supporting the charities that you love and Save the Children and ESA.
Let's go.
Had to catch a few Z's, you know?
The Jam. So you wake up and Ziza's like, we're being attacked, so we gotta do a couple of battles. There's actually some optional battles you could take if you needed to. Vic's not going to. But gonna have to fight our boy Gilgamesh again. Yeah, so if you talk to those goblins running around, you can fight them if you really wanted to, but no need.
See ya.
That's the bone mail in action right there. And he's gonna be dead for a while. But there's a reason for it. We're not just killing him off for fun.
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's an added bonus.
You're sick, man.
But yeah, it's for the round. I hate Galen. Hate it.
Joe Primo's a king.
Right.
Starkle.
Sink, sink, sink.
Did you say Starkle?
Yep.
All right. So this is our first instance of Combine, the chemist. You can use a couple of different items to create special potions and stuff that do a bunch of different effects. And fortunately, Gilgamesh is weak to instant death. So we create a death potion, kill him right away, he doesn't summon his buddy, fight's over.
Nice menu, Vic.
Dude, I almost forgot the most important one.
His instant death wasn't actual death, though.
Right. Of course. Runs away. You know who doesn't run away? J Primo.
Right.
He he's running away. He's just running towards another problem. Ah. I'm a lot more careless with my steps in situations like these where they don't matter.
Which is fine.
Yeah, yeah. A little bit of a taste of my favorite song in the game. But we do have time for that donation.
All right. Well, BTFM sends in $5. He says, "Good luck, Bick. I have a feeling that this is it."
My man VT, thank you.
BT is looking to get the Gothic all chapters run to be done in Polish. So thanks again for that $5.
BT and I have never speedrun the same game, but we have bonded over the years in our quest to dethrone Canada, and then only to get dethroned by Canada again. But, you know, whatever. It's fine.
Definitely something we can all agree upon.
Yeah. But he and I are boys for sure.
Try my best to avenge you soon.
All right, so at the bottom of Ziza's ship, there was a submarine, which conveniently leads to one of the 4 barriers towers around Exdeath Castle. So the goal here is to take down the tower, so once again we can get into the castle.
These are my favorite designs as you're walking through and around these. Super cool looking.
Gonna pick up a couple of chests for money. The other ones have monsters in them, so we're definitely not gonna open those.
It's a quick little dungeon, but there's a lot of steps to do. You can get bogged down here pretty bad without step route, which means there's a lot of dodging encounters to do. You're gonna see a lot of extra steps and things like that.
I think those are red dragons in those chests too, so if you did decide to pick them up, that's a tough fight.
Yeah.
All right, so top of the tower. Nothing could go wrong.
A little bit more horsepower up here.
All right, so we killed off Galoof earlier for this fight in particular. Let's get started. We'll talk about it real quick. This is Atmos. He will keep using the Comet spell until somebody dies in your party, and once they do, he'll try to suck them in and kill them, basically. But we've got samurais and we've got chemists, so we're going to use some buffs, potions on the chemist up there to make Guild Toss a little bit stronger and just kind of add to it. Make quick work of Atmos. It's not a tough fight under these situations. That was very fast.
Well
that was
done.
really good.
Yeah, so going back to Hiryu Mountain, we fought 2 zombie dragons, which were going to give me a dragon fang each. And one of the many chemist combinations you can do is High Potion and Dragon Fang, which does dragon power, which effectively gives the character you use it on 20 levels. And Guild Toss damage is based on level, among other things, so the more levels I pump into someone, the more Guild Toss damage they're going to do. And so that's why you saw, like, the first Guild Toss, 1600, and then 4600, and then 7600, just because theirs had 40 extra levels there.
And if you thought we used scrolls a lot earlier on, get used to that strat.
Yeah. Guild Toss was always part of the route, but with money being in a different place, he tended to depend on what people used to refer to as death by math. He used a lot of blue magic in the olden days to use level 5 death, dark shock, which halves level, and level 2 old, which decreases level over time to try to get bosses to the right level so you can doom them and kill them, and all that's gone. It's much more RNG based and just slower in general. And now we have the mathless route, which just takes away all those blue magic things. A lot of the other strats are still the same, especially in the early game. You're still going to goblin punch stuff, you're still going to rod stuff, you're still going to scroll stuff. But now we're basically jumping into guild toss and dragon powers and whatnot, just way earlier. And from 2015 through now, there's been numerous revisions, numerous step routes, and now just the routing is just completely different without the need for blue mages. Back then, I never really used step route either. Wow.
Serious explosion.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Headphones anyway, it's really loud. But yeah, I mean, this game's weird like that. Just their explosions are just really, really, really loud, even though everything else is totally normal.
Heard an explosion?
That's fair.
So
I've heard pyro at WWE shows. Does that count?
Same thing, yeah.
All right. It's pretty loud, yeah.
That was when you won the belt.
So Ziza sacrifices himself there, and Galoof's really upset. And there's actually just a clock here that counts to like 14 or something like that. But if you just go inside the submarine and leave, it cuts it in half, basically. So you just have to wait like 6 or 7 seconds, and then Galoof will snap out of it.
Now the goal is to go try to visit Guido again. Since we have the submarine, we can go underwater. Try to find him. And I get to hear my favorite song for a little while.
Yeah, after Exdeath Sunken Island, he just kind of hung out underwater now. It's not really that big of a problem.
Yep.
Alright, so we found the Sunken Cave, and we're going to make our way through. There are a couple of little puzzles here. We got this stone puzzle where you take it out of the box, put it in a different box, it opens a different door. So Bic's going to be doing that while doing step manipulation. But other than that, we're just going to kind of make our way through here. So if you've got any messages or anything, good time.
Well, I just thought I'd remind everybody that we have some awesome prizes here that you can win if you donate. For instance, do you like the color scheme that you see in front of you? This beautiful purple and gold? Well, we have a custom ESA-themed N64 controller that you can win with a minimum donation of $60. And keep in mind, that is a cumulative donation. You don't have to make $60 all at once. If you donate throughout the rest of this marathon, and it adds up to more than $60, you are entered in to win that.
Yeah, not only does Lovebot play a mean Yoshi story, but he makes some really sick controllers too. So if you get a chance to get in on that, it's awesome.
I had a chance to see that controller myself. It looks, it feels, it is amazing. All the switches are sharp. It's got a braided cord on it. It's a thing of beauty.
So kind of as a theme, we're under-leveled here, so running away is going to be a pain normally, but since our thief learned escape way back when, we're basically just using that in every battle to get through here as quick as possible. Yeah, even on preemptive attacks, it's faster to use escape. A turtle?
I like turtles.
J Primo.
Yeah, you just smash on it till it does something.
Alright, so our boy J Primo here is just hitting this turtle shell, and they're like, dude, that's the sage. I'm like, what? So this is our 700-year-old sage, Guido. The one we're gonna figure out how to defeat Exdeath with. Alright, so he tells us to go to this forest, but there's like a enchantment over the forest, so we can't get in without a special item, so Sage Guido's gonna give us something to get in there. What do you think that is?
I know what I think it is.
Okay, me too.
The soul cannon.
So we get the Elder Branch, and it's gonna let us get in to the forest so we can continue our search for a way to defeat Exdeath. So we're gonna take the submarine over to this small little lake. You can see it on the map, I believe, and then go up and head into the forest, and got time for a donation.
Well, that's great because it's a big one. We've got an anonymous $75 donation.
Nice, thank
Thank you.
Thank you to that anonymous donor.
Yeah, our boy Galoof is finally going to get popped back up once we get out here, too.
All right, I'm going to do something a little different. So I can save it, because there is an RNG boss in here that could mess things up, so it just is what it is.
Yeah, so normally saving the game would never happen because it messes with the step route, but Bick took some special steps there, so he knows where he is. Still where we need to be.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take some encounters on the way, get some more experience, make our way through the forest.
Yeah, so I just took 2 extra steps and then took 2 half steps, which don't count. So it lets me get in the menu, and then I can just save it just in case. And if I did have to unfortunately reload, I would be off step route, and there's nothing I can do. But it's obviously better than just, losing the entire run. So whatever. No big.
Yeah, and at this point, if Bick were to lose step route, it would be unfortunate, but not run ending. He would be able to finish it out. But yeah, so we're gonna continue through the forest here, and if you got a quick donation, you could do it real quick.
All right. Looks like we have an anonymous $12.50 donation. The comment is, blindfolded runs are inevitably always amazing to watch. And I could bet you can guess where that donation went to.
Nice.
So
Kind
we
of
are
in limbo about it, to be honest.
a little bit. But we are a little bit closer. We are now $227.50 away from that.
Alright, so once again, Exdeath is gonna catch on to our plans to take him down. And he decides to set the whole forest on fire.
Good guy. There was quite a bit of event tiles that Vic was stepping over there as well, like in front of all those little trees. There's 2, and so he's gonna grab the Aegis shield and party on through the fire.
Yeah, I got another timed event here, so he's just gonna stand in this specific spot. So when the event does happen, it goes on immediately.
It's RNG time.
Yes, it is. No RNG in this game.
Shoutouts to my boy Toju. No RNG.
Alright, another timed event, but got the healing spring there. Use that, and then just hang out until that Moogle decides to quickly get out of the way and not get in our way. PCs, man.
Yeah, so the timing on it's consistent, but how the Moogle decides to move is not consistent. It could not move, it could go up, you know, or try to go up. Yep.
Okay.
That's just,
Not bad.
yeah, that's good.
So all these chests have ash in them, which is basically worthless, throwable item. So this is the Elder Tree, or the Master Tree, and got that branch, so we're gonna make our way in here. Fight one of the more annoying casual fights, I'd say.
Speedrun too. I mean, 99% of the time it's so easy.
Right.
And then there's just that one time you just die. It's like, oh, okay. Brr. Okay. So there's 4 crystals, and you really just cannot have them target one person all at once. Like you gotta just spread out the attacks. And there's 4 characters, right? Like that should happen basically every time, but sometimes it just doesn't. So
We definitely want Ferris to stay alive here as well.
need some bless RNG.
Yes. Alright, so the mechanic with these guys is they use these physical attacks until they get past a certain HP threshold, then they kind of go crazy and use these strong elemental attacks. So we're going to use Samson Power, which isn't as strong as Dragon Power, but still does the job. But we made it through. It was a little sketchy, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that Samson Power is just a different combination of
Right.
Antidote and Revivify, so some of that stuff that Big picked up earlier.
Yeah, so it gives 10 levels
yeah.
instead of 20. So one of the first revisions to the old route was figuring out, oh, you could use you could get Dragon Fangs in the route and use that Dragon Power instead of Samson Power. It still used math, it just certain fights went a little faster.
If you noticed, when Vic was doing equipment here, even though our boy the King is back up, he did get some bone mail equipped on him.
High defense, right?
Got to make sure you're ready for Exdeath.
Got a couple of quick cutscenes here, so if you got a donation, be a good time.
All right, we've got $40 coming in from Best Rodeo. He comments, "Good luck on your Tuesday Final Fantasy V disaster, Vic."
My man Bez Rodeo, thank you.
Looks like Bez Rodeo wants that $40 going towards tomorrow's Bloodstained Curse of the Moon any % run. Looking to get that run in Ultimate Zangetsu only mode.
Good run, man.
Damn good run.
Get in for that. And
Great game.
Yeah, I just
Blindfolded
played that.
Limbo, of
Just
course.
played that casually for the first time. It's a great game. So Kara comes in, tries to save the day, but Exdeath ain't having none of it.
He's trying to keep our heroes down. Galoof was kind of coming to because of Kara.
Then he goes Super Saiyan.
Power love is a curious thing.
Got the match we've all waited for. 1-on-1.
1v1. Just like my boy Jenya, 23. RNG time.
All right. So,
Perfect.
scripted battle. Galoof is supposed to win, but the fastest way to do it. Oh, come on,
Perfect.
dude. Just die. Just die.
So yeah, this was the reason the bone mail was
Okay.
equipped before we came into the Force No More here.
So that fight goes on for a while, and there's some dialogue back and forth, but if you have the bone mail, you use the Phoenix down, it's over.
Yeah, because you otherwise can't die. You already
Right.
saw from the first attack. I just sat with 0 HP and it continued. So you can either sit there for many minutes or you can just go for the Phoenix down. But of course, Sometimes, since you're essentially attacking yourself, there's a chance that it misses. And then, well, sometimes you just sit there for a while. I guess third try is not bad. It's not terrible. There's definitely been multiple, like, 5th, 6th, and 7th tries in my life, so I'll take it.
Aloof, open your eyes. What, you don't know the lore?
What's going on?
Well, Galoof is flashing.
That's never a good sign.
I don't know what Kara's going to do about it, but
Galoof has died.
RIP to Galoof. Kara's obviously distraught over what's happened.
Good riddance.
I mean, we just killed him anyway, so.
Yeah, that's true. So, our boy Galoof is no more. Just stand here and stare at Kara.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Another timed event.
just gonna see if she's okay, dude.
Got to give her a little bit, she's got to mourn.
Joe Primo
Good
knows
thing.
how to help with grief. Okay? He's a grief counselor, among many other things. And step number 1 is sit there and stare for a while.
Acceptance.
Oh, that's what I learned in.
Joe Primo's School of Masculinity.
Yes.
All right, so
She's over it now.
yeah,
It worked. I mean,
we can't continue our journey with just 3 people. So
There's no way.
can't happen.
Kara is going to take our boy Galoof's place.
Great tune. Iku Tree hooks us up here.
Yeah, so the whole mechanic is she wears his circlet, and then she inherits all of the abilities that you had already gotten on.
Luckily,
Yeah.
the game's not mean enough to make you start over.
Yeah, thank God.
So, where do we go from here, Vic?
We're going to Exdeath Castle. Where there's going to be a cutscene a little ways into the castle, which is a good time to fill some air, but until then, we'll have to keep handing out the lore bombs.
All right, luckily the Wyvern knew where we were, I guess.
Can always count on Wyvern, dude. Always. Always.
Even in a relay, huh?
Especially in the relay.
All right, so like Vic said, make our way back to Exdeath Castle again, and hopefully this time we'll do something.
He's not going to catch us this time. I can feel it.
Or jail.
So Vic did a half step there to get into the menu in order to switch jobs and get the party where it needs to be. I'm a fan of the half steps, if you guys didn't notice.
Yeah. So we get to this spot in the castle, and if you were to go up, you'd see there's nothing to do. So the only way you can go is back the way you came. But Kara realizes that something's not right, and this is all an illusion. So he's put this spell on the castle, so you can't see where to go. And she's going to call on the remaining Warrior of Light here to help out and break the curse, or the spell. So that way we can see the castle for what it really is.
Our good friend Nerm really broke down this scene well for me recently with the phrase something along the lines of, Imagine a ghost of your friend telling you to hurry up and die. Is pretty much exactly what's going to happen right here.
Yeah, Galoof's like, we need help, sacrifice yourself so they can do their job.
Being the honorable man that he is, Kelgar goes, I got you.
Sure.
If you had a quick message, you can. Otherwise, after that, I need time to just do the castle.
Oh, just a quick one, just to remind everybody of what we're here for. We are here to save the children. Your donations go towards Save the Children and their mission in giving children a healthy start in life, the opportunity to learn, and protection from harm. Thank you very much.
All right, so with Kelgar's help, they break the spell, and we can continue to find Exdeath. And I always really liked this scene. I thought it was pretty cool, because it was all just a big facade, and you see like this living, breathing castle appear, and it's kind of gross and grotesque, but it's really nice. There's a lot of really cool details going on.
I really like the pulsating chest of columns. It's awesome. It also brings up the question because Kara refers to them as wolves, not werewolves. So if you're been following the lore, which is it? Is it a man turned beast, or is it just a beast of the forest?
I'll let our viewers decide.
Send in your donations and let us know.
So we've switched a couple of characters back to mediators, and we're going to catch these magic dragons here. Luckily, a guild toss will kill the other enemies and bring the guys down low enough where we can catch them. Just need 2.
Kara's little hat is on point too. Little sheep head.
Yep. Yeah, that's another cool thing about this game is depending on the job, each character looks different. Just little subtle tweaks. There's some secret passages in here. We'll take those a little faster.
That's just a suggestion.
Alright, so this is an interesting room. There's going to be a lot going on here. If you guys remember way back when we did that dupe where we stole ethers to make money, we're kind of going to do the same thing real quick. Sort of the same setup. Be one little difference, but that's okay. But we're going to use a mix on these guys. I didn't hear, sorry. Kiss of Blessing, which berserks these enemies, most importantly, so they won't do any of their AoE attacks. And we've got the low damage from the lava, so our knight's going to protect us, and we are going to hopefully very quickly steal some more dragon fangs so we can dupe those. Alright, nice. Very quick. So the only difference was we used 2 throw commands on that blank slot, and that will bring it down to 99 of the item, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alright, fine. Because you can't use a Dragon Fang by itself like you could the Ether. You have to do it that way. And in that little room we were just in, there's a little moving platform. If you get on one of the wrong tiles, you have to fight a battle. It doesn't matter which of the 3 in the middle you get, as long as you get it.
Yeah, it's frame perfect too, we'll say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great job, Vic.
Thank you. That's why I'm a renowned Rockman 2 player as well. Nail all the tricks.
Vic item 1 if you got it.
So we've got a billion dragon things now, so we're going to be using those a lot. If you open that chest, there's a Gilgamesh fight, but we're not doing it.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Was disappointed in no Gilgamesh incentive, dude.
You weren't the only one.
Alright, so finally, we go face to face with Exdeath.
We made it.
And this is actually a pretty tough fight.
For normies.
For normies, yeah.
Get off of his stream. You're going to see lots of dragon power as well, obviously, from the dragon fangs we were able to pick up.
Never really talked about it, but you can put your characters in 2 different rows. We've got, front row, back row. Back row takes less physical damage. Exdeath has a spell that'll move them around. Doesn't really matter. Speed Potion uses haste, dragon power, gill toss. Rinse, repeat. There's the dynamo. So we're in the front row now. Hopefully he'll just do that again.
Probably a demi.
Right. I don't even think he can use dynamo a second time. But we've got our same situation with the other characters. They're all in critical health, and we've got Kara there to defend if we need to, but we don't. And he's down.
Sub 3.
Man, this is...
Very well done, man.
Yeah, this is a good run.
I think we're off sub 340 pace, but it's still a really good pace. I think just some of the RNG wasn't really good enough to keep a 339, but it's still easily 340 or 341 pace.
I guess for reference, I don't know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I don't remember the exact timeline.
Me neither.
Sub 340 was Bix like holy grail, and then he basically just now anything that's not sub 340 is trash, and he's like, oh, only 339.
You skip 339?
No.
No? Okay. But you had like back-to-back PBs or something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 339, and then, 338 might be a thing, and then next run 338, like, I guess 337 is going to happen.
337 would be pretty hard to get. It's definitely doable.
But if something's hard, Bic's going for it.
That's right. One of my defining features.
Absolutely. Probably should give a shout out to Zen. I guess kind of tweaked this route to make it what it is now. Step route. Put a lot of work, made some really good tutorial videos that one of us watched.
I mean, I watched some of them. Yeah, they're, in terms of any speedrun resource, really, this game has very, very intensive ones with full video tutorials and Google Doc that follows the entire step route. That I know, having done similar things in smaller games, that is definitely not easy and requires a lot of dedication and deep knowledge of the game. So
yeah, I mean, for me, even personally, step routes are very intimidating. But just watching those videos kind of made it understandable for sure.
Yeah, so when I came into the scene 2015, it was a lot of work by Delm, Happy Squid, Genya were the ones running it. So I kind of just came in and copied what they were doing. And
Ink Alex, Hail and Hydra a lot, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I got a sub 4 with a very, very old route, which is actually really good for its time. And then people like Chrono Kirby, Swed, Iris Valor, I think his name was. It's been a while, sorry. All kind of came in and started doing their own different routes and started putting in Dragon Power. Used to have to steal off of Chimera Brain for that, and that was like a pretty rough age of this run. They were constantly updating speed routes, and then it kind of died for a while. And then, but of course the J scene never really stopped. So, Zin or Dragon was also one of the ones in the Swed, Chrono Kirby, Iris group. They were all doing a lot of work, and they actually had probably one of the best outings I had seen in the 4-5-6 relay, specifically for 5, because they had just come out with a new route, and all 4 of them were doing it. And there were slight tweaks, of course, but it was super cool to watch at the time. And then I think over time, Zin just kind of kept his eye on what the J runners were doing and tried to stay on top of what they were doing, and he made his own tweaks, and he kept up his own resources. Like, anyone running FF5 in the last few years probably worked off of what he was able to do, or at least learn from J runners. So big shout outs to him. He had the fastest English time for a while at a 3:41 with a route that's outdated by this route. It was still mathless, but A runner named Ashura came through and made his own optimizations, and so even though Zin never actually ran again, I don't think, he still updated everything. He's got the notes. He eventually made the videos, as mentioned before. And so when I felt ready and it felt it was time to come back to this game, all the resources were there. So I just had to put in the time to learn. And here we are. He's a very good player. My run is now 3 minutes faster than his, but you know, a lot of that's going to be due to routing for sure. I may or may not be a better player than him. I don't know, but I legitimately don't know because I missed that whole grind of his. Like I was just really off of FF5 for a while, but yeah, whatever I've been able to accomplish has been like off of his shoulders for sure, and the people he was learning from as well, of course.
Yeah, I think he has 37 videos, 36 or 37 in that playlist in varying lengths from 5 minutes to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So definitely not a small task that he took on.
I used to be really intimidated by this game too, and I just kind of told myself, like, you're not really allowed to, like, just back out. Like, okay, if it takes you a year just to even learn the step route at all, like, so be it, just do it. And it just ended up being, like, not very bad at all. Like, yeah, I lost a lot of runs in the beginning, but, I mean, I don't know. I think that's all part of the learning process and the speedrun process, and I don't know. To me, it just wasn't a big deal. You know, I just put in the hours to learn the route and slowly but surely started to just play faster and faster and faster, and the amount of times I would lose step route and lose runs just started to happen less and less and less. And
those were good times to watch too. It was it might have been torture for you, but it was good streams.
yeah, it's like the resources are there, the videos are very helpful, and you know, there's a lot to do on the front end for sure, and I can definitely understand the idea that, like, I'm scared to lose step route, blah blah blah, but, like, I don't know, it's approachable. It does take some time, and honestly, you don't even need the step route. Obviously, it just makes it faster, of course.
And you want to go fast or slow? I mean, that's up to you.
Right? Yeah. You're the one speedrunning, so however you want to do it, it's up to you.
And even if you take the slower route, it's still play it casually and then take a non-step route, and you're gonna smoke through the game. That's why there's so many cutscenes stacked on top of each other. When you play casually, there's sometimes hours in between them, not 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was Antlion.
That was Antlion.
Dragon Power through money. He's free unless he attacks J Primo twice. So real quick catch up on what's going on. So we think we defeated Exdeath. Went back to Tycoon Castle, and lo and behold, Lena and Ferris are sisters. I don't think we covered that. But they stay in the castle to rule, and we decide we're just going to be on our merry way, fall into the trap. Boko's married now. Moving on. And more cutscenes, so sure, let's take some messages.
I just want to remind people that we are still $227.50 short of meeting that donation incentive for the Limbo blindfolded hard route. Now, that's going to be one heck of a run if we can make that incentive happen.
When is that run?
That is just a little while away. Let me check. Looks like that's in about 4 hours, 4.5 hours away.
Oh yeah, we got to get that in for sure.
We got about like 35, 40 minutes left in this run at a worst case scenario. So let's try to make that happen. It's not much money.
This run has just been really gratifying over the last few months of putting in the work, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's just really easy to tell yourself you probably can't do something, and then if you kind of just keep working and don't let yourself like quit or whatever, the next thing you know, you start to hit the goals that you set, and that's what speedrunning's all about and why it's so fun. It's just hitting those goals, having fun, and you know, I don't have to be the only one with a sub 340. Like, anyone can pick this up, and with a certain amount of time, if you want to do it, like, you'll achieve the same level as me or better. You know, who knows? Whatever you want.
I think the big thing, it is easy to get intimidated by a longer run like this, and I know all of us have done longer speedruns, if not currently in the past. Me longer than others for various reasons we won't discuss. But you shouldn't come in saying, like, you know what, I'm going to get sub 340 and I'm going to bop Bic. Like, that's a pretty unrealistic goal to strive for when you very first start trying to understand the game. There's just a little bit of time that, like Bic said, he put in, and he really understands the nuances of the step route and, you know, that save that he had in case there was bad RNG. Like, instead of losing a run there, if you understand that and you're going through and just trying to improve, you can do things like that to stay on step route, finish runs, get the experience. And even when you're not getting world records and all the arbitrary stuff that we set out, it's extremely gratifying and fun to play a game that's intended to be 40 plus hours in 5 hours. And until you sit through and do it and understand the mental toll and everything it takes on you, and trying to focus 3 hours into a run where you have a lot of stuff going on, it's just like an experience, even if you're not on top of the leaderboards and whatnot. And if you like it and you choose to go further, then that's awesome. And the community, the Final Fantasy community in particular, is also a really good one. People are always supportive and willing to give you the info that you need.
Yeah, for people like starting out speedrunning, comparing yourself to other runners is a big mistake because you'll just get discouraged. So, I mean, just focus on your own goals and work towards those. And then if you like it, like Deuce said, stick with it, grind it out, and get what you want. Because, like, I don't know, I kind of run Dragon Quest 3, and if I were to compare myself to Darko or some Diener or Twitch Pop every time I ran the game, I'd quit a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a stepwise process for sure. I had a 353, a 351, a 349, a 347, a 343, a 341, a 340, then a 339, 338. Like, it took a lot of steps.
Those weren't like 5 runs in a row either.
Over 5 years or 4 years.
Yeah, no, it was like a 6-month, I think, grind to get there. And I say grind, like I did a run like twice a week or something like that for 6 months, and this is where I'm at for it. It wasn't even like I had to sit down and do this every day or anything like that.
Probably better that you didn't, really.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Done that before.
That's another mistake you make when you're first starting. Like, if I just play every day.
Oh, God.
And by day 4, you're like, all right, time to pick up a new hobby.
All right, so real quick, we went to go talk to the sage, and Exdeath transformed himself into a thorn, which was stuck in Kara's side, and then he tried to kill us again, believe it or not. But now we're in... Is this World 3 now?
Yes.
Yeah, this is World 3, yeah.
We're in World 3.
I lost track. So this is World 3 now, which is a combination of World 1 and World 2. That's why the sage is here, and we can also go to the Library of Ancients. We're going to figure out a way to get Exdeath here with the help of our sage boy. So more cutscenes. He's going to talk about how to get to the Cleft of Dimensions. And if you've got a quick donation, looks like a nice one there. Why don't you hit me with it?
Absolutely. We've got $250 in from our very own Dusler.
Oh my gosh.
Damn, boy.
Looks like it's time to close your eyes, boys, because we just met the donation incentive for Limbo Blindfolded Hard Route. Thank you very much, Dusler.
Thanks, Deuce.
Thanks, Deuce.
My pleasure. Looking forward to that run.
All right, so there are these books. There was one in each of the worlds, and now that the worlds are combined, the books can come back together and tell you about how to defeat Exdeath. So there's these 4 tablets, and each of them is protecting a special spell or a summon or something like that. But we only really need to take care of one of them, so we're going to go to a very, very fun place. And
this is your favorite part of the game,
This
I believe?
is my absolute favorite dungeon.
So we still only have 3 characters, and we have to go to this really awful dungeon full of lots of RNG and just nonsense. It's the pyramid. So we're gonna make our way there. Hey, look, it's the tree.
You see me go down there to dodge the tiles that would trigger a cutscene. And then we're heading off to the pyramid. So, May, Hactical, Countess, Diener, Tonic, and anybody else I'm missing, please bless me.
Johnny bless.
All right, so before we can go in the pyramid, we've got these two guardians, the gargoyles. Guess what we're gonna do? But the mechanic with them is if you kill one and you don't kill the other one fast enough, the other one comes back to life. So kill them both at the same time, move on.
No game has a good pyramid dungeon, not one.
Nope.
Alright, snake time.
Right.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, usually one's the norm.
I believe it's pronounced snake.
It's okay.
Snake. And the hornet. Ah!
Yeah. Two is unfortunate, but it's fine. So these are undead. Use the resurrection spell or potion on them. See ya.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. It's just time for the encounter,
Yeah.
obviously, but it doesn't change. Well, I guess technically it does change the step route, but nothing I can't handle.
Waiting for a small trap.
All right. Over here.
Hello?
Okay. Ah!
All right. So this room sucks. Okay, so that's fine now.
Not bad. Not
I
bad.
mean, it's better to do what he did than to actually get into an encounter with one of those guys. So
Actually messed up and didn't put Combine on Ferris, so some of the snake battles could have actually been bad, but it worked out. So why be good when you can be lucky?
Always better to be lucky than good. Like it never even happened.
yeah, so the pyramid itself is kind of got a bunch of branching paths, and there's hidden treasure, and there's traps and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, Bick knows where all of them are, so we're gonna avoid them and get through here as quick as possible. Still good.
We're good.
So we're gonna pick up chest here and a chest. Oh, no, not the other one. So it's a guard ring. For some reason.
Okay.
There's the tablet. That's what we came here for.
That was not the worst pyramid. 2 snakes, second try skip, but we got the skip at least, so.
So, in addition to unlocking special magic, those tablets unlock weapons as well. We're not going to use any of them, so that's fine. But this one unlocks Bahamut, yeah.
Our boy.
Unlocks Bahamut and gives you the airship. So this World 3 is pretty open world in a lot of ways. There are certain aspects where you have to do one thing that maybe unlocks some other things, but there's also just generally multiple things you can decide to do. Lots of extra summons, all 4 tablets, which gives you all the 12 or
Yeah, 12.
yeah, 12 endgame weapons and all that stuff. There's a lot to do in this world if you want to, but this is a speed run. So ultimately all we want to do is just open up the last dungeon as quickly as possible, which to do that all you have to do is what we just did, and we can move on. So I will not be doing any of the extra content. We'll just be heading straight to the end for the most part.
And there's some really, actually, like, cool dungeons. Like, 4 Tower is really cool.
Yeah, there's some really good content for sure.
So definitely play this game if you haven't. It's a very fun game. A lot of people didn't play it because, like we said, it never really got a North American release until later for the PlayStation 1. But
So we're going to get to the next cutscenes, and then there'll be time for other stuff.
It's also a great 4-job fiesta event that happens every year. That's kind of a fun way to get into the game, too.
how many of those have you done?
I've signed up for 7.
Okay.
I've started 0.
All right.
So we got time for a quick message.
I just want to remind everybody watching that now that we've met that limbo incentive, we do have a few others coming up after that. You'll note that we've got DuckTales Remastered coming up in a couple hours, and there is a bid war going on for which soundtrack to use. Right now, the 8-bit soundtrack is winning by $30. We've also got a character choice and name choice for Astral Chain coming up as well. So go ahead and get those donations in. Go ahead and fill out those incentives. And if you take a look, we are, $67 away from $14,000. I think we can hit that in the next just few minutes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, let's get that before this run's over. That's plenty of time.
So we're walking through the forest, and Lena shows up kind of out of nowhere, but something's not quite right. She's possessed by a monster I can't pronounce the name of.
Marigwin?
Something like
Mary
that.
Jean? Mary Jane?
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane,
That's
yeah.
it. All right. So Exdeath goes on another little rampage and starts opening these portals to the void over certain locations throughout the world.
What is Void?
Void okay?
Void, nice run.
You're just pressing Y through this cutscene to the void, right?
Yeah, totally.
I never like the mwahaha I get and the ha ha ha, but in this he drops a fwahaha. Have you ever heard an evil fwahaha?
Only just now.
That must be like a Swedish thing, you know? Fwahaha.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, here's Mary Jane. Gonna blaze it to start off with Ferris.
So she's weak to fire, and we caught those magic dragons way back when. So 2 magic dragons plus 1 little fire.
And so she's a boss who, over time, will change her weaknesses.
But it always starts fire.
Yeah, correct. And she has 20k hit points, so 2 9999s won't quite cut it. That's why you just throw a fire one out there just to finish it off. Even though I guess technically you start with it, but you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Math. No math.
All right. So with that,
Getting back to the airship at
Yes.
this point.
we are going to start making our way towards the end of the game pretty soon here. But before we do that, why don't you hit us with that donation you got?
All right. Looks like we've got $10 from Keishura. Keishura says, "Look at this handsome couch," or line of chairs. "I couldn't think a bunch of puns today, so I only have a joke for you. Hey, Bick, what does a Moogle drink every morning?"
What?
"A Kupo coffee." Good luck on the rest of the run. Also, we are $4
Thanks,
away
Kay.
from $14,000. $4. Somebody's got to have a $4 donation here right now. Come on.
Thanks, Kay.
Thank you for your donation.
I guess chocobos use Quake cups.
Please leave.
All right, so Exdeath starts destroying the world, and Bartz goes ballistic. Or sorry, J. Primo. Excuse me.
In the name of freedom, he's going to go into the void.
That's J. Primo's hometown right there. Oh, J. Primo, help.
I like how they void, I don't know, like 8 towns or whatever, but the only one anyone cares about is J. Primo's hometown.
Makes sense, really, if you think about it.
I mean, I can't think at a critical level like J. Primo can, so I guess I'm just missing it. It's over my head.
Grr.
Sir Graham.
Sir Graham. Now he's just flying around the world Superman style. Out of anger. We're going to turn back time and...
Let's do the speed of light. Alright, okay.
I mean, that airship is pretty fast.
Get it.
Like how he's not even steering either.
We do have one last pit stop, but then we're going to hit the final segment of the game.
So this is Mirage Village. Obviously, there's no indication on the map. It's only World 3. But if you wander around in there, I think there's like 4 certain tiles. You'll get into a fake encounter and come here. So back behind the weapon shop is this guy. We're going to sell some stuff to get some money. Buy running shoes, which instantly give you haste all the time. So super important. But with that last little stop, we're going to take our airship into the void and go confront Exdeath. So we're going to get off our ship here and be in the void, and there's going to be a quick introduction here of like all the monsters that you can actually fight in the void. We're not going to really fight any of them that we can avoid, but there are some cool optional bosses, stuff like that. But other than that, we're just going to make our way, and if you've got a couple of donations, now's a decent time.
Well, first and foremost, we just crossed the $14,000 mark, everyone.
Awesome.
And once again, it looks like it was a friendly Moogle that made that donation. The last donation of $5 says, "Fixed your posture, Kupo." We also got $5 from our very own Poker Factory, saying, "Making sure I get closer to everyone being included in the prize raffle. 14K, everybody."
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
So as we make our way through the void, there's kind of like different, I don't know, sections, different styles. This is the industrial section, I guess. We're going to do some step routing here, quite a bit of it actually. So just going to let Bic do his thing.
This place is just a rush. There's a lot to do, a lot of bosses, a lot of menuing. It's really fun. It's my favorite part of the game, but as you can imagine, it requires a lot of focus to do.
So this is actually Mirage Village. Part of it we didn't really see, but everybody's frozen in time.
Yeah, I guess as we make our way through here, Vic's just picking up this ribbon. That's pretty much all. But you got time, or if you have another donation, we have time. Excuse me.
Yeah, well, looks like we've got a $5 anonymous donation. This one's looking forward to a run going on Friday afternoon. The comment is honk honk, and it goes towards the any % run of Untitled Goose Game by Yisk. So thank you for that anonymous $5 donation.
Here's the time that Vic's going to be putting the equipment he just purchased to use. Get the running shoes on everybody.
Right. So we've got another boss fight here. This one's kind of more of the same, but we've got some interesting stuff going on here. You may notice that Ferris is a freelancer, just normal in this one. But that's going to come into play a little later. But we're just going to Dragon Power up there, Guild Toss. Oh right, forgot about that part. Much like killing off Galoof earlier, we're going to do that for an upcoming fight using the Levitate Float spell there.
Yeah, just kind of in the cave now, descending further into the void. It says, you know, we went into the void, but I guess we're technically not in the void yet. There's like the preamble to it.
Yeah. So right here, that's Omega Weapon. Definitely not going to fight him. Got a weird pattern going on right now.
Like, I should have went. I don't like this. All right.
All right. So normally you just go down along the bottom there and just walk past him, no problem. But it's fine. Now we're going to fight a panda.
That's right.
Have to try hiding in a book sometime. Apparently it's the cool thing to do.
Alright, so use Bacchus's Wine there, which does Berserk on a panda. So he's just going to attack from now on out. Then for the same strategy, Dragon Powers to boost the attack power of Guild Toss. Just use that to finish out the fight. Kara's gonna die no matter what happens, so it's part of the route.
Yeah, she's not needed for any boss strategies. Some doesn't have to be her, but some character is going to be dead just because that's less turns and less animations you're going to have to sit through. Just makes things slightly faster. And then anytime you're trying to optimize a speedrun, you're going for as many small things and big things as you can.
So this whole area is just kind of boss after boss after boss. So we're just making our way to the next one. Just gonna be running from these battles. We've got 2 quick ones right here coming up.
It's rumored that they modeled this section after the best game in the series, Final Fantasy Legend.
So first up, we've got Catastrophe, and like you saw, we used that Levitate before. And if somebody is floating in your team, then Catastrophe is going to use an ability that will bring them down, so he can use Earthquake or whatever his attack is called. But he'll just continue to do that. So if you're casually playing, you can just float one person. He'll do that, float one person over and over again. But luckily, we can just take him out before he does anything else. Right.
We don't have the float spell at all, so you have to use a mix in battle. So it just has to happen somewhere.
So that little lady's super excited that we saved her life and gives us a little kiss on the cheek.
Got the smooch.
So we continue our way up into the throne room of this castle. Try to make our way through this door, but we can't do it. Try again, and our little friend comes back. Maybe she'll help us out.
Took the old kiss of death.
Okay. So luckily, even if somebody's a frog, they can still use chemist abilities and they can still gill toss. So there's no real reason to take them out of being frogs, because that's what we're going to do for the rest of the run.
It's frog time.
Frog time.
I technically have the items to cure them, but one, that would take time. So if you were on a PB attempt, no point, but frogs are just way cooler anyway. So whatever.
And I mean, the overworld sprite of the frog is one of the better ones.
So this is Twintania, the last boss before we go into the void. And I don't really know how to describe what's going on here. So we hide with Ferris and kind of wait it out until Twintania gets to a point where his, I guess, he changes form. And the second form that he changes into is vulnerable to instant death. So Ferris has got combined, or yeah, so you'll see what happens. So we're just waiting it out till we get to the point of the change. Here's our friend the Death Potion. See ya.
Okay, so basically you're just using Hyde to wait out his turns. After 5 actions, he'll change his form. I came back after the 4th because if you skip the Wind Slash, the game crashes, so you have to eat that. So hence the high potion before he acted. Take the Wind Slash. The only reason why I parried is because I'm watching the ATB. There's a slight pause in the ATB when they change form, so I know when it's okay to actually use the Death Potion.
Here is the Void.
The Void.
Here is the Void.
Final area in the game.
There's a bunch of treasure, some trap boxes with some incredibly difficult enemies. You can fight Gilgamesh for the last time here. We're not going to do that because we didn't fight him for the 3rd time.
We didn't fight him for the 4th time.
Oh, sorry, 4th time. He's everywhere. But we're just going to make our way towards our goal of Exdeath.
That's right.
That's a good chest.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Go get it, dude.
I never actually knew until I learned this route that if everyone's dead and someone hides, you just run away from the battle. It was one of those times though where I was just like, it's like, Zen an idiot? Why wouldn't you put escape on, dude? And it's like, no. As it often turns out, I'm just the idiot. Yeah.
I've seen that, yeah.
So this is the end of the void where our foe Exdeath is waiting to greet us.
Late to your own funeral.
Power of
Wahahan
the
again.
void.
We're almost done. Just the last set of cutscenes here, which are decently long, and then the last boss.
Very cool last boss also.
Yes. Totally.
Suckers. This is the Void if you guys didn't catch that the first 8 times.
Wow. I think we're just like barely gonna miss sub 340. I think it's gonna be a 340 XX. That's crazy.
Very,
It's a really
very
solid
sick run.
Sorry, schedule. Or are we behind schedule?
No, I think we were like pretty spot on.
No, but then sorry, schedule. Yikes. Well, it's like a 26-minute ending or something, so.
Just watch it play out.
Yeah.
So Exdeath turned into a tree.
He's a tree demon.
Yes.
It's a thing. So I'm told.
Like a yokai?
I don't know.
No, I mean
See
a
that one of your
yokai.
Clearly, you're the Japanese expert, so probably with all the anime you watch.
Yeah.
So.
The problem.
Your favorite anime, Deuce?
I've been really into this series by Chicago lately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really good, just solid. There's another one I started called Steely Dan.
Oh, sounds good.
Pretty good. Well, every Saturday I check that one out.
I just finished Flight by Night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was solid.
It was a good rec.
I'm really happy you didn't say Fly By Night, because that's what you said the last time this question came up.
Well,
Did
yeah,
he
it was,
really?
it was a recommendation.
Oh, that's probably where I got it. It was a
Well,
recommendation.
next time we do commentary, you should check out Physical Graffiti and Houses of the Holy.
Led Zeppelin 2.
Yeah. They're a little angsty, teenagey, but that's kind of my thing, so.
Alright, so all the ghosts of your dead friends show up and help you out, and then you can fight the tree.
I do like that Jay Primo has no reaction to seeing his dead father either. He's just like, oh, okay, cool.
That.
All right, this is it.
Yep. So, yeah. Just
The
watch.
tree corn.
Kind of the same thing. Lots of dragon powers. But believe it or not, you can berserk the last boss. And that does a couple of things. I mean, first off, he's just going to attack. So Ferris can tank all the damage, but does something else too. If you've played this game before, you might see something a little different happening than what would normally happen. Time.
Sick time, dude. Very good.
Yeah, so in addition to just berserking the boss so he attacks, it also cancels out his transformation to his second form. So you can just deal the damage and fight ends, just like that.
No Neo, Exdeath.
Yeah, no Neo. He's like a super cool boss fight.
Yeah.
Very challenging, really good song. And there's just really no good way to get through that fight with the means that we have. Like, you could definitely alter the route and have it take longer and do the stuff, which has been done before, even by me. But,
The beginning.
you know, somewhere down the line, I felt like, let's do an actual speedrun of this game. And 3:40:45.
Awesome.
Crazy
It's a
good. For a
insanely
live
good
run,
time, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's 2 minutes slower than my PB, so it's nothing. That's
I mean,
awesome.
that's like on the tops of the leaderboard,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
if it were a run.
It would
so.
still be a second place time.
Yeah.
So. Nice. Well, I don't know what the plan is if I need to sit here because I finished, a half hour early or not.
Good to do whatever.
Okay,
You
so
want to sit here?
Tell us about
I wanna dedicate this run to Joe Primo. He doesn't know who I am yet, but
Yet.
But everything that he stands for is what inspires me to do the things that I do, such as speedrun this video game in 3 hours and 40 minutes and 45 seconds. and other stuff, I guess. Okay, I mean, so cool. Thanks to these two guys for chilling out for almost 4 hours, and thank you to ESA for taking the run. I've been wanting to do a live marathon of this run for a long time and actually like do it well, and I'm glad to have accomplished that. So thanks, y'all, and we'll see you next time.